Hello and welcome to another episode of What's on the Pile. I'm Nathan Bezner, and joining me is Hsien. Yeah, I'm going to make us do the whole thing this time.
Oh, I thought you were gonna blow through all of us. So I was
Nope,
just like,
Wagner.
Hi guys. I got nothing
Jenner.
clever this time.
Jenner.
Oh, it's my birthday, and I'll wear my fuzzy robe if I want. It's 25 degrees outside.
Happy
birthday,
birthday!
Yay.
I was going to mention that
Cry me a
later,
river.
but
Uh,
oh, you're in
Continue-
cold territory.
Kevin.
Continuing my uncanny streak of anticipating stuff that you were going to say anyway.
And Jane. These movies put me in a fun mood. This week, we'll be talking about the child-killing, Nazi-killing, unconvincing, dad-killing movie of the year. Becky, starring Lulu Wilson as Becky, and Joel Mchale as her dad, being absolutely deadpan without that telling smirk, and Kevin James as a Nazi with the superpower of not passing out when he has to cut his eyeball off. Some of us also watched Wrath of Becky, so we'll talk about a bit about that as well. In that, Becky goes toe-to-toe with Stifler and the weird kid from the Burbs. Let's just jump right into this one. I think there are mixed reactions.
I thought it was fine. I thought it was fun. Did you catch that Joel McHale's name was Jeff?
Yes.
That amused me.
Yeah.
That was very funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
You know,
I did laugh.
I also realized this is the first anything of Kevin James I've seen. I've never seen Planes. I've never seen any of those Sandler movies. I like Sandler when he's trying, but the ones that Kevin James are in are not the ones
He's
where
not
he's trying.
trying. Yes,
So
no.
I've never seen him in anything. This is
I
my
don't-
first time
I'm-
seeing him.
He's never tried.
Punch
I don't
Drunk
think.
Love, I think.
No, I mean Kevin James has
no,
never.
Kevin
Yeah,
James.
no,
I mean
yeah.
Sandler.
No, I know.
Wasn't he in Mall Cop?
Yeah, Paul Blart.
Yeah, there you go. So, Mall
The
Cop
inferior
was
version,
Nazi.
the inferior Observe and Report.
Punch Drunk Love.
I know.
Thank you.
Paul
Not
Blart.
everybody here is a fan of Observe
Yeah,
and
Punch
Report,
Drunk
but I
Love
love.
is
I love.
great.
Observe and Report is a filmed hive, but I don't mean that in a bad way.
That movie's more Taxi Driver than
Yeah.
Paul Blart anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, we're talking about Becky.
Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about this movie myself because I think it was a complete mess. I think that everything that they could have messed up, they did. And I still liked it despite that. I have this, I don't know, I kept going back and forth, but then suddenly it would have this moment of brilliance and clarity. And I kind of formed a theory as to what this movie is, but I don't want to go into that yet. I want to get everybody else's reactions, because if nobody else felt that, then maybe I'm crazy.
No, my reaction to that was very similar. I referred to this as fallacy of the talking killer, the movie.
Yeah, I was stop monologizing.
or in this case, or in this case, fallacy of the talking killer, the pair of movies. At the same time, it stayed interesting. The thing that dragged us straight into the second movie was, what's the deal with the key?
Yeah, they're setting something up.
It was a
Yeah.
breadcrumb, and a
Yeah.
shitty one at that. Wait, you just wait.
I mean,
But anyway.
they're already rumbling about a third one.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
obviously.
hope so.
Yeah.
They better. Well, I say that, but I believe we were watching. Jenner and I watched it last night while he was doing laundry, and his laundry wasn't dry, so we went to watch the second one to find out about the key. But he said, "I'm not enjoying this, but I kind of like it." Was that what you said?
Yes.
That was the case with the first one. The second one, I
Yeah.
think I genuinely enjoyed.
Yeah, the
See,
second.
I hated that one. I thought it was terrible.
Really?
I thought the second
I
was a
did.
vast improvement over a lot of things.
With the narration and the dream sequences, I was like,
Oh.
"Come on, it was just dumb."
I
Oh,
think
well.
I think I have to talk about Becky before we get to that part,
Okay.
because it's all
Stop.
set up at that.
Okay.
Becky. Oh yes, Wagner.
Oh, okay.
You probably
I
have something to say.
Not particularly enlightening. I kind of turned hard on this one right from the get-go. Famously, when we did Face Off, which everyone on Earth except me seems to love, I commented on the grinding inevitability of most of the story. And that is exactly what the first half of this movie was. It's just the grinding inevitability of getting to the point where we're allowed to have fun. We
And
have to
that's
have we have to have the mom. We have to have the tragic death of the mom, the ineffectual dad. Oh wow, the villains are neo-Nazis and we have a mixed race couple. I wonder where this is going to go. Every single point to almost exactly the half mark of the film was utterly predictable. And it was just a matter of how nasty is this film going to be in getting there. And, are we going to be precinct, assault on precinct 13 with shooting a toddler in the face who's holding ice cream? Oh yeah, we are. We're going to do that twice. We're going to have 2 off-screen deaths of children at the very start of this film to establish who the bad guys are, in case the tattooed swastika on the back of his head didn't give it away.
Actually, can I interrupt
And
just a second? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I just was going to say that wasn't a needless child death. It did actually later make Apex change his mind. I don't know. Whatever. But sorry.
Yeah,
There are lots
no.
of ways that could have happened, though.
It was, but it wasn't.
When they shot on the dad in the car and it was just this schlubby guy, I'm like, well, he's dead. And you literally could have cut 3 shots out of that scene and completely removed the child death from the scene, and it would not have changed anything, in my opinion, in the entire story. And these guys, I mean, they're neo-Nazis because it's the bugaboo of the moment. If this were 20
that's
years
always
ago,
the bugaboo.
I was going to say, to be fair, that's always a bugaboo.
No, 20 years ago, it would have been Satanists. It would have been Satanists.
Didn't American History X come out 20 years ago?
I was going to say
Okay,
30,
35
years ago, it would have been Satanists.
Look, I keep trying. I'm in denial about the fact it's 2024.
Okay, I understand that. It is a genuine.
If it was the 80s, it would have been Satanists.
Everything was
if
a
it was
couple
the
of years
60s,
ago.
It would have been hippies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything was a couple of years ago. Believe me, I get it. Yeah.
And the only
a couple of years ago.
The only thing I actually enjoyed in the first half of the film was figuring out where I knew Apex from, which is he was the bruiser from the first Sherlock Holmes movie.
Ah.
He was the French guy with the big hammer who was going after him in that one scene.
I just kept thinking Jack O'Halloran from Superman 2.
Yeah.
A little bit. Everything I just said only has to apply to the first half of the movie. The second half of the movie was more fun. I have thoughts on that as well, but I think, Nate, you have a lot you wanted to go into on this.
Yes. I thought about this movie a lot, so much that I had to watch Wrath of Becky. Well, I watched Becky last night and then woke up and watched Becky again. And I have kind of come up with a theory about these movies. I think what Becky is it's a parody that is too serious to be good.
I can see that.
Okay.
I can see that.
Or actually, let me change. Let me rephrase that. A parody that is too serious to be funny.
Okay, what's it a parody of?
It is a parody of exploitation, revenge, kill films. That is exactly what it is. It follows the milieu of those films. It has the sound of a good revenge kill grindhouse kind of feature. They went for the ridiculous. Everything is kind of gray look. They have all the archetypes from those movies, every single one, to the point where if you watch that movie as a parody of the genre, the child death scene becomes hilarious. Because what do they do? What do they do in revenge films? It's always a man whose kid dies, wife gets raped and dies, or mom dies, or some variation so that the man could go to action. It's an excuse to see a lot of murder. In this one, you have the young girl. It's a total twist of it's something that hasn't been done before in revenge.
Well, yes, it has, but we'll come to that.
It has not been done a lot, I guess, in that genre, the exploitation revenge killer genre, unless the revenge is against rape, which is the I Spit on Your Grave series, that kind of thing.
That wasn't what I was thinking of, but go ahead.
That's the kind of genre I'm thinking this is parodying. It's the kids. The kids always die, right? The kids always die to propel the man into action. And if you look at that, knowing that, if you watch the scene, it cuts from a shot of this big, giant, cartoonishly grotesque bruiser to a shot of two kids, and if you look at them, they're screaming like this. Ah! They look hilarious if you have that in mind. So my theory is that this is a straight parody, which is why they cast comic actors to be able to play these archetypal characters so well that it became kind of one of the same instead of being a parody on surface level.
It ran into Poe's law.
Yeah. Well, say Poe's law for everybody.
What's Poe's law?
Any sufficiently advanced iteration of parody will be indistinguishable, or satire will be indistinguishable from the real thing.
Yeah, okay. It's one of my favorite things in the world. I love building.
It defines the internet.
Yeah, I like building comical parody elements into things, and I like doing them realistically, quote unquote, because I think it's funny. I think it is hilarious. I always wanted to make an internet film where it was just real world internet shit, but it was still the ghost like trying to kill the kids that broke into the VR factory or whatever the fuck. And
whatever the kids are into these days.
But have it be like actual internet terminology and actual like how people react and speak to each other on the internet and that kind of thing. I think that sort of thing is hilarious. Parody, satire that is so good that people don't catch it on a first or second screening. The problem with Becky is it is made by people who want to achieve that without having any of the talent to be able to do so, aside from the comic actors and Lulu Wilson. Like the acting, I think, is fine, but a lot of the muted palette is a terrible choice. It should have been saturated and gritty. The muted palette was awful. They fixed that in the second one. The Lulu Wilson, Becky, she plays the character great, but the way they write her, she is the most unlikable and unrelatable person ever. She's just a piece of shit, kind of. I get that they do flashbacks with the mom, but there's no real connection between the mom and the dad. You don't have flashbacks with Joel Mchale, Cancer Lady, and her. It doesn't create that visual connection.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out if they were already broken up by the time she was undergoing cancer treatment, because I could not figure out if he went through the same trauma that Becky did at all. I felt like they had been divorced for 4 years, and then she got cancer and died, and then Becky got sent to him.
But we don't know because they never tell us.
His disaffected nature told that to me. Because he didn't seem to have a lot of, and he was going to be selling off her property or something like that the year after she died. I don't know. There was such a disconnect between the trauma Becky had and the trauma that you would think he would have had, that I assumed they must have already been broken up by the time that happened.
I think that's just bad writing.
I think you're right.
There is, and make no mistake, there is a lot of bad writing in both of these movies.
Oh yeah,
like I say, coincidence redounds to Becky's advantage way too many times.
Mhm.
There are some masterful set pieces where she did plan ahead fairly effectively, but she never seems to have a plan B. So when plan A runs out, it's usually just run back into the woods, try to find a hammer, what have you. Like, oh, lucky the keys were left in this stolen vehicle.
Yeah.
No. I thought that she was driving the was it Vi and her son's car,
think
but
you're
then I
right.
noticed it wasn't it, because you remember he handed her the keys at the beginning. She was like, "Oh, valet service," and so I thought and then it was the other car entirely. So I don't know. That confused me.
Didn't she use both cars?
She had the van where
Yeah,
that the
true.
dog was in that they arrived in.
Yeah.
She
She must have
crashed
had
the
the keys for
stolen
both.
car, but I thought she had the keys.
She had the
Violet
key. She
stolen
did. She had the
car.
key. That's how she was opening the door over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she had the
I didn't-
keys, yeah. But she used another car to run into the dude because she set a trap. The trap was the van.
Right.
And using the
Yeah.
keys to open and close it. That makes
And
sense. to me.
re-imperiling her dog again.
Mhm.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
poor dog. Oh, that poor
It's a
dog.
big dog.
Poor Diego.
Like how
Diego has seen some shit, man.
Poor Diego. Poor Diego was so scared in Becky that he went from black to light brown.
Yes, I know. I said that's not the same
Great.
dog. It's not the same dog.
Even though one of the dogs lives, this movie is not nice to its dogs.
No.
I think the extra plugs on Dora were really gratuitous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, like I say, one shot, we get it. They had like 5 shots on the dog lying there with bullet holes in it. That's
That was
gratuitous.
too much.
That's unnecessary.
Now think of it as a parody of a Death Wish character.
Mm. It works better that way.
Yeah.
Again, like I say, you're quite
well.
right. I would have been curious to see this. The Kevin James role apparently was originally supposed to be Simon Pegg.
Yeah.
That could have been interesting in its own right.
But that's kind of
funny.
That's the thing is I can't fault the acting in this. Everybody does fine. You're right. The writing is seriously disfocused.
well,
It still is. Once it becomes fun, like I say, the first one was not nearly as enjoyable as the second one. The second one I think I genuinely enjoyed. The first one I was more interested to see what was going to happen next than I was actually having a good time.
I just wanted her to start killing motherfuckers. That's what I came for. And it took goddamn half the movie to explain she has a dad. I guess she loves him. He dies. She wants to murder the people. They're evil. That can all be done in 15 minutes. And they made it almost the entire movie. And I'm fairly certain the reason they didn't get the family of Joel Mchale and all 3 of them together in the same room is they could not afford him another day.
Yeah.
I would allow that as a fair
I love that.
Shane, you were going to say something.
well, you guys were talking about the bad writing. I mean, there's a scene where Kevin James says he spent 50,000 or whatever hours planning this. What the hell was his plan?
I know.
He doesn't even know who is in this house.
Yeah.
Their plan was that, okay, they escaped the police transport or whatever. I guess that takes planning. But then he gets a police
9
uniform.
years.
Yeah, he just randomly, if they find this guy and his kids, they kill the kids, I guess, to get a car. Then they just go to this house where there's this thing somewhere in a room somewhere, and they don't know who's even there.
It's a MacGuffin.
What was the planning? Well, I mean, I don't know
It's-
but like, what was his plan? What did he spend 50,000 hours planning?
It
took
is
him that long to
revealed.
plan that much.
It is revealed
wasn't
there's
very
more to it in the sequel.
There's more to his
Okay.
plan.
Yeah,
But
the
not much.
plan he's talking about is not going to get the key. The plan is after he gets the key. That's the plan he's talking about. And I agree with you. That's exactly what I thought too. And it is just bad writing. Because apparently they intended him to mean it that way. It wasn't supposed to be like, oh, his plan was to show up here and murder a family and leave. It doesn't take 9 years to do that.
Dumb enough, maybe it does.
But then that's not how the characters, unless it's a parody,
Actually,
and that's a joke. Oh God, if it's played straight, imagine him saying, "I planned this for 970,000 hours, and you're going to like just totally over the top, and the audience would get this is a joke. But if he delivers it that way, it sounds serious. But the words he is saying are ridiculous.
So
it's just I don't know.
There's an alternate to this being a parody, not kind of. Second half of this movie, I'm watching, I'm like, what is this reminding me? Oh, you like Hit Girl.
Oh.
Because, and I'm not just talking about Hit Girl as appeared in the two Kick-Ass movies, which I haven't seen the second one. So I'm talking about the comic Hit Girl, who had her own running comic for quite a while there. That, to some degree, is what this is when we get to the second half, where
they lean into it hard in the second movie, too.
Yeah, a 13-year-old can, stab a man's eye out with a key because you can draw it on a page that way. Just trust us. Wrapping up a bunch of art pencils and going like that is going to really injure someone in their shoulder. The most realistic part of this movie is where Apex just picked her up by the throat and went, bam!
You know what was not realistic? That her body wasn't completely broken after that.
That's what I said. That's what I thought. Like, oh, she's dead now.
And it's not even that. He followed it up with a punch straight to the solar plexus, which would have cracked it, and she'd be dead. She'd be dead.
She would either be dead, she would have been immobile for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Trying to breathe.
But no, then he goes...
He's not trying to kill her.
This is why I'm still going with the failed parody theory, is that Apex as the like apologetic killer, and then she actually executes. Yeah, it's like, no, fuck you. We're gonna do things differently.
What I'm saying is,
but it didn't.
This exists in a Mark Millar universe. That's what I'm saying.
I will buy that. I will accept that.
Could be viewed as parody. Could be viewed as edgelord bullshit. Somewhere in between there.
I go towards the latter with Mark Millar personally.
Mark Millar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's on.
It really is. It's Millar.
Some of them are.
Yeah.
That's how it's pronounced.
It's got an A in it. I don't know.
Nobody has ever told me that. I've been saying his name for like 15 years.
I listen to a comic book podcast. I assume they know what they're saying. I don't know.
What if they're telling? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoy this comic tellings of Mark Millar.
He wavers from explicit parody to edgelord bullshit and is somewhere on the spectrum between those. And I think this exists somewhere on that spectrum from point to point, depending on perspective.
Yeah, so, apparently the Kick-Ass movies were an acknowledged inspiration, particularly for the sequel. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I can see
that. If you were gonna make a comparison that you would recognize, I would say that Becky is Evil Dead to Wrath of Becky's Evil Dead 2. And it really looks like the direction they're going will be Army of Darkness next.
I can see that. I can see the structure of that segue as well.
Trying to go for a straight horror film, but somehow making it comedic by accident instead of making a comedy film and somehow making it straight by accident. It's kind of similar to me. So that's the comparison. And Evil Dead 2 is the more colorful, splashy, fun one that doesn't have all of the weight of messages and shit.
So is Wrath of Becky very campy? Because that's the use of camp in Evil Dead is how I sort of judge those.
Yeah, Wrath of Becky is campy. Wrath of Becky has some truly hilarious moments in it. It's also
go ahead.
Yeah, it also has its own problems, but I think they righted the ship in the correct direction. However, they need to give these fucking things more time, because apparently Wrath of Becky was written in 3 weeks and shot in 2. So
Wow.
Shot in 18 days with a pickup week a few months later.
okay, so
Was Lulu Wilson like aggressively aging out of the role, or
She's like 18
no,
now.
she's like a producer on it. She spearheaded the thing, and then she got Sean William Scott. Yeah, she's the one pushing this series. She liked the character so much that she's like, I want to keep doing it. She wrote half the script of the second one. The big goal, their biggest goal, was to soften the edges of Becky so that she was more relatable to an audience, so that when she murders Proud Boys, nobody gives a shit.
See, that's
Not
my
that anybody
favorite. That was
would
my
anyway.
favorite part of Becky was when Vi says to the skinhead.
James.
She says, she's angry. She just lost, or she's
Vindictive.
got all this vindictive. She's a 13-year-old girl, and you just killed the only person on earth she gives a shit about. And she was like, how fucking stupid. Did you have to go to school to get this stupid? I don't know. Anyway, it was fantastic. That was my favorite part.
Yeah.
And
That
that's
was
what made me
trying-
think, yeah, you made a monster. You made a monster. Because all little 13-year-old girls have the potential to be monsters.
That is trying so hard to be the John Wick, like, hype man moment of the film.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
but
it.
she's 13.
Yeah.
Apex is going to pick her up and tear her limbs off.
Again, imagine if you're sitting around talking with your buddies about revenge killer movies, and you're like, we should make a parody. Oh, who would be the best person to put up against fucking like neo-Nazis or some shit? Oh, it should be a 13-year-old girl. That's hilarious. Let's write it.
And we get to hit girl again.
It's Death Wish meets John Wick meets Home Alone. It writes itself.
I kept saying it was very much like Home Alone. I kept saying, oh, she's going to Kevin McAllister, that fucker. And then sure enough.
Oh God, Wrath of Becky, the end. Oh God, everything's
Oh, does Becky? Does Wrath of Becky have
which lends itself Which lends itself to the distinct impression, going to your Evil Dead 2 Army of Darkness thought that we are going to have a major change of setting and context in the eventual third one.
Let me just set it up. Do you really want to watch it? Do you want to skip spoilers? Do you care?
I'm not going to watch it until I can get it for free, so it'll be a while before I see it, so don't worry about spoilers on my behalf.
Okay.
It's on Paramount Plus if you have
How
it.
much?
I don't have Paramount Plus.
It's free.
I don't care.
Oh, I don't have Paramount Plus.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I have Paramount Plus until the 19th because I got rid of it.
Okay.
Anyway, they got rid of the Star Trek movies. Anyway, Wrath of Becky starts with Becky as a kid in the system who wants to get out of it as quickly as possible, and it ends with Becky as a CIA operative with a bazooka.
Which is the ultimate system. I mean, she's
still
joining the government, right?
16 years old now.
62 is the youngest recruit.
And I'm still very iffy for a completely pedantic reason on the ending is, on the one hand, the CIA is the branch that recruits assassins. On the other hand, the CIA is not allowed to operate domestically, and it's the FBI that deals with domestic terrorists.
Yeah.
But Black Dynamite. I work for the CIA. We got our FBI friends coming. I don't know. It's like some fucking. That's every revenge movie has some form of stupid authority system that makes no sense in reality.
I mean, props for Lulu Wilson for calling in her Mike Flanagan alumnus bud Kate Siegel for that bit, because it was a very, very fun little performance there.
See, the only problem I have, at first I was like, no, this is unrealistic. Becky has a bazooka. She likes to take her time. She said so. She says that in in the movie, by the way.
Wrath of Becky.
She's a serial killer, essentially. She's like Dexter. She's waiting for the chance to murder people
Here's
and
my
get away
problem.
with it.
The background that we're given on Becky to show that she's a serial killer, to show that she's able to, nut up and murder 4 men and after her family's been taken, all of that is established because she stole gummy worms at the convenience store. That is the dark
Slippery slope,
background
man.
we're given.
I started out the day with gummy worms. I ended up killing 4 guys.
Jack Chick would be
what a day.
proud. It was Satan the whole time.
I'd say it was puberty the whole time. But anyway.
No, Wrath of Becky is about 3 guys. Becky is now is off the grid. She has run away from the foster system. She has taken up residence with an elderly black woman who is super cool and wants to help her out. And she's actually having a decent life. She, on her day-to-day time, she talks about how she fantasizes how she would kill people who piss her off. But only people who piss her off. Like, everybody else is fine. Just
unusual?
No, it's
Wait,
not.
They don't have to be evil. They just have to piss her off.
It doesn't help
Yeah.
that she works in a food service job.
Yeah, she's a waitress. So, like, a guy's calling her sweetheart when he wants coffee and shit like that. She imagines slitting his throat. And, a lot. The difference being that although we all do that on a daily basis, it's more than that for her. It's like an experience she wants to recreate and is just holding it back. It's very, very made very clear that this is more than just her being like, ugh, people piss me off.
Make no mistake, she would be a natural recruit for the CIA. It's just the CIA would not be the ones who would be asking her.
Yeah, it should have been the FBI. So it starts out with her as the waitress, and these 3 guys from the Noble Men. The Noble Men.
Yeah.
Get it? These 3 pissant piece of shits that look so perfect. One guy has a bald cap with a 5 o'clock, a ball cap with a 5 o'clock shadow and a polo shirt tucked into his khakis, and it's like a short sleeve thing. He just looks like a tiki torch guy. It's like the epitome of those guys. There's an incel guy who's this greasy, skinny-looking motherfucker, and he's got he says disgusting things to women constantly. And then you got the I beat my wife guy, and he was
wearing a wife
wearing a literal wife beater. And they are part of this nobleman thing, and they want to go to a rally that's happening. And so they stop by a diner and they harass Becky. So she is very nice to them, doesn't start shit until she can't help herself anymore, and she takes one of the coffees she's serving to them, and she just pushes it over, dumping the whole thing in his crotch, and he starts screaming. He's like, "Oh, it's so hot, it burns," and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." So she leaves work, and as she's walking away, you see them waiting for her, and they're like, "Let's go fuck her up at her house. We can kill her. We don't care, whatever." So they break in, and it's a home invasion thing. They break in, they get Becky back down with a gun. Her dog comes in. One of them hits it in the head with a baseball bat, and then the elderly black woman, I guess is would she be a magical Negro?
Little bit.
Little bit. She has a shotgun. She's like, don't put that gun down. They put the gun down. Then another guy picks one up and shoots her right in the head, and she's instantly dead. And that's the catalyst. Happens in the first, what? Oh, and they take her dog and leave her alive.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is that this movie series hates dogs.
That's what I said that like 20 minutes ago. Point of order, and this is one thing that kind of cloyed with me from the second movie, is we have seen Becky's daily training routine, which is a mix of parkour, setting traps, avoiding traps, practicing throwing knives with extreme accuracy. Lots and lots of training has been something that we've established leading up to this point, and she does nothing with the home invaders, or almost nothing. And
She headbutts a guy backwards.
Yeah, she headbutts a guy backwards. She hears glass breaking or something that sure as hell sounds like glass breaking. We've established that she doesn't sleep. She goes completely unprepared to deal with a possible home invasion, resulting in the death of a really, really cool character and the extreme brutal injury of her devoted and long-suffering dog.
The dog's fine,
I'm
by the way. It
hearing-
has no brain
Yeah,
damage.
it's fine.
We've
but-
established
hearing-
that
Now
she
it
has
eats lots of meat.
We've established that she has basically superpowers, and she completely forgets that she has superpowers.
For a moment, but
Grinding inevitability.
at the same time, John Wick gets caught. He gets knocked the fuck out. I mean, suddenly his mystical powers of gun fu fail him if the plot needs it to.
I'm sorry. Are you saying that's good or bad?
Oh no, it's a terrible,
What happens
terrible,
to John Wick?
terrible
It's terrible there.
way
it's terrible
to write
here.
it. I think it's one of those. Okay, written in 3 weeks. It's bad writing. It's just bad writing. There's really no excuse for it.
It's no better written than the first one.
It is much better written. It's all just supposed to be a catalyst, and they managed to do in this film with this woman who gets killed. They managed to do with her in 20 minutes what they couldn't do for me with Joel Mchale in 40 minutes. Is make me care about her.
Mhm.
She was a fully realized person. It's a next tier. You could tell it's next tier filmmakers. Like they've stepped it up a notch because they can grow characters without dialogue. They can show pictures of their past and show pictures of them when they're happy after they've been killed. And that can motivate you more. It's fucking visual storytelling and not just telling us, I want a key.
Yeah, notably,
does-
the second film was written and directed by completely different forces from the first movie, who ended up getting consigned to executive producer roles. You were saying, Matt.
So does the dog die in Wrath of Becky?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, good, because if the dog died, she'd have to adopt before she had a third movie. So clearly that's what motivates her.
It is what
I mean,
motivates her.
that's what John Wick did at the end of 1. He got a new dog.
Yeah, see, that's what you do.
Yeah.
That
They had the foresight in Becky to give her 2 dogs.
See, they're learning. They're learning their mistakes and making new ones. Or
So
old new ones.
can we talk about that key and the secret of the key?
What is the
Well,
Yeah, what is the
There
key?
is no, they don't give it to you. They just, okay, well, first of all, Becky was, fondling the key a whole bunch in the first movie, right? Where she was touching it constantly. She wore it all the time. And then suddenly the bad guys pull it apart and there are coordinates written on it.
yeah.
She would, I mean, it was like simple.
That
how did
happens
she
way
not
later.
find
We should.
that?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think we should get them at least to Sean William Scott in the story before.
Oh, okay, sorry. I didn't know we were going that
I don't know
far.
where
Go
it's
ahead.
going.
He wasn't one of the noblemen you were talking about?
No, this is all the setup. I'm basically telling you the entirety of the setup. So that's it. That's the big setup. Then these 3 guys go off to their noblemen retreat with Sean William Scott and Courtney Gaines. And it turns out that no, they're not going to have a rally. They're going to have an insurrection with a whole bunch of guns and shit. And Becky shows up there wanting revenge for the death of her friend and the kidnapping of her dog. Sean William Scott is like, give her fucking dog back. So the guy who killed the friend is like, I was going to give your dog back, but now I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to do it quietly. And she's like, oh yeah, and murders the fucking shit out of him with a grenade in the mouth with a string tied to it so that when Sean William Scott opens the door, his head just goes. It's so funny. It blows up like a balloon. I cracked
That
up.
was done in Dominion Tank Police. But okay, go on.
It was, yeah. It's total shit like that. It's total. It's fun rip-offs of other things. So that's when Sean William Scott gets involved, and it turns out there's this whole sect called the Brotherhood that we learned about in the first movie, and they have symbols, and they're planning to take over the whole country, and there's this big list of the most important people, and we don't get to see the top 12. We're told the top 12 are amazing, but the incel looks at it, and he's like, oh shit, we're that high up. And so it must be something incredible. And she learns all of this, and it becomes less about saving the dog and more about just killing Proud Boys, basically. Just murdering them in the worst ways, telling them that she thinks guns are boring because she wants to like make it last and shit. It's brutal and hilarious in a lot of ways. It has problems in a lot of ways as well, just like the first one. It's a film series that wants to be good and fun like Evil Dead, but is just so sloppy right now. But I really liked the second one. I thought it was way better. Almost the end is hilarious, but yeah, they find the key on Becky and they open it up, and it turns out it's a key within a key with coordinates on it. And yeah,
tell us the end.
Okay. Sean William Scott. Turns out his mom is the fucking ringleader. Stifler's mom is the ringleader. I just want to point that out on the parody side. No, it's Deborah Logan.
Yeah.
The Taking of Deborah Logan.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, nobody's okay. It's a very. It's a very you would. She's very recognizable. I've forgotten her name. It turns out his mom is a piece of shit. They've got Becky tied up. They make the dog their dog and have it like heal and stuff because they keep feeding it meat. And she's like, I'm going to take over the world, sweetie. How do you feel about that? That's basically what the character is like. And Becky gets out of her ropes because she was a Girl Scout, and then fucking Jack Burton's the mom by just flinging a knife right into her forehead. She's gone. Fucking she takes off. Sean William Scott follows her. And then she gets to a little frowny face on a tree, and she stops, and she turns around, and she's like, you're a piece of shit. And Sean William Scott's like, I'm an Army Ranger. Steps on a bear trap. Is mad. Steps on a second one. Like a fucking cartoon character, tries to move again, stumbles, goes face first, and his head lands on one, and he's all just covered in bear traps. It's the Mousetrap Tom and Jerry thing, but live action. It is so funny. It is hilarious.
It is funny.
Oh.
Now, of course, from a writing standpoint, Becky's plan was absolutely dependent upon Sean William Scott having run out of bullets by that time.
Yeah, which
lucky for her, he had run out of bullets by that time.
Yeah.
Because coincidence has a way of redounding to her advantage.
Every
bespeak quality writing.
You downplay it. Every villain in the film, every single one who has a gun, when they come up against Becky, they shoot once and then a second time, and then they just fucking unload without even seeing where she is. And then they're like, oh, I'm out of bullets. I have no more power. And then she's like...
So, I'm sorry. I find this completely unbelievable because there is no way in hell he was a Girl Scout.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. I don't see Becky, like, selling cookies.
No, she sold them like cocaine.
Well, that does work too.
Well, I mean, thin mints are a thing.
That's what I was going to say, yeah. Speaking as someone who just closed the account on her daughter's Girl Scout cookie selling.
Nice.
Actually, my wife did that.
Oh.
Cookie selling tonight. Actually, it's tomorrow, I think.
You can buy one box for $4, or you can get 2 for $8. That's not a discount. No, it's not.
Or you can buy one box for 4 or 2 boxes for 10 because I know you're a pig.
Well, I feel very conflicted about these movies because I enjoyed the first one despite itself. I think I could probably cut it down into about a 35-minute film and it would be pretty good. I think Wrath of Becky went in the right direction. She is a more fleshed out character, and that's what they mean by softening her side. She's not a psychopathic serial killer. She just likes killing pieces of shit. And, that's bad to kill people, but
that is how psychopathic serial killers reason.
Yeah. But when they're literally going to kill people and you're like defending yourself, putting yourself in a situation where you have to defend yourself on purpose.
Well, she did have to go get her dog. I mean,
that's true.
It's
sloppy. Who else is going to be beaten up in the next movie to justify her going on another rampage?
Next one's going to be like Becky Goes to Washington.
Yeah, it's gonna be a CIA action film. That's the next parody. It's gonna be in the line of fire.
If it follows the Hit Girl arc, she'll go to Italy and kill the entire mafia, which is what Hit Girl did.
Nice.
Well, I mean, there's a certain aptness to the comparison with Kick-Ass, particularly because Matthew Vaughn is also generally a very, very sloppy filmmaker. It's just he's talented enough as a director, and usually has good enough writers on his side that the movies, generally don't kind of show all of the cracks in the way this did. This is like Dollar Tree Matthew Vaughn.
It's a film that there are a series of films that don't have a lot of money to make them, that are completely blown on their comedic actors, I guess, because they're name actors, they're name people, but you just don't really see the money on screen unless it's the major like villain kills and stuff like that.
The gore effects are impressive for the most
they
part.
are.
Yeah, the lawnmower over fucking face and nothing. Oh, so gross.
That's not how that would look, but okay.
But it was a fun effect.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yes, it
was.
It was a fun cartoonish effect.
Yes,
which was out of place with the rest of the attitude of the film. It has a tenor problem.
Yes,
basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's badly sung karaoke,
which has an entertainment value in its own right.
It does.
That's exactly right. I would recommend this to people who either love the revenge killer subgenre. I guess there are people out there who do. There are dozens of them. I would recommend this to people who know their shit about filmmaking and know their film history to discuss it, because I think these movies are ripe for discussion. How they failed, what they were attempting to do, how they succeeded. Why do I like this movie when I know they made so many mistakes and they had child killing? Yeah.
And killed a dog.
And killed a dog. And yet I'm totally okay with this movie. And both of them. And I haven't explained that. I really think that thinking of it as a failed parody is what does it for me.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you have a reaction to it, and then that defies all of your semi-objective standards. So you have to kind of reverse engineer from, why am I weirdly okay with this when there is nothing that I should be okay with in this? It's, the man sees the movie and the critic must acknowledge that he is that man.
Because I know why. These movies are the movies that I wanted to make when I was 20 years old. And I thought the movies that I was going to make at 20 years old were going to be like these excellent magical pictures that would get awards and shit, when they would honestly probably end up more like Becky and Wrath of Becky, a kind of meandering, wants to do one thing, ends up being another because of so many notes, and it gets kind of mixed up in the end. It doesn't quite pull off what it wants to be, but it still has that lingering aspect to it that can be intoxicating for some film people.
There is some joy of filmmaking in this.
Yeah.
Yes. Also recommended to fans of weird stunt casting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since they all, like, Kevin James produced. I guess because he took a pay cut, probably. Fucking Sean William Scott actually produced, apparently. Like, he was very hands-on.
Yeah.
And he was very good in it, too.
Oh,
yeah.
He's another one of those actors who's actually a really good dramatic actor when he puts in the work.
Yeah. He also has the single funniest line in the movie to me. Give her back her fucking dog. When they're like, no, we mess with this Becky. That's who's messing with us. And he's like, I have an idea. Give her back her fucking dog. And it's just
delivery on that was pretty beautiful.
It was very good.
That was the clip they showed in the you hover your cursor over it preview of the movie.
Yeah.
And also Amazon Prime.
Apparently, it's Becky.
Yes.
Yeah, that was funny. But I'm thinking he might have heard of her because he knew what happened to those guys. Like he was like, wait, a little girl with a dog named Becky who's out killing people. Oh shit! I thought
they described it as a cell. So it's possible that like two cells can have zero connection with each other and never have any awareness.
It would have been on the news. It would have been on the news.
But are they going to say members of the secret Brotherhood cult died today?
No, they would have said some skinheads that escaped from prison, that they had full-on records of who they were and what they looked like.
But the other guys probably wouldn't know who those guys were because they're different.
Oh, that's true.
Cells.
But they might have gone, oh, hey, those guys weren't stupid, not smart like us.
I feel confident that by the third film, she actually will be something of a neo-Nazis boogeyman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
the Baba Yaga of neo-Nazi.
Which could be silly. It could be fun and silly.
Oh, I can't say I'm looking forward to it. It was a little bit too much for me. I did watch an awful lot of the movie like this. I mean, you were there, Jenner. You remember. I was like this through a lot of the really hard parts.
The gore effects are juicy as anything.
Yeah. I do think Wrath of Becky had a particularly the response by DJ, the incel, to he's the only guy left with Sean William Scott. And Sean William Scott is like, "Are you a noble man?"
Noble man.
And he's like, "Do you expect me to say no after you killed my friend?" And he says, "Are you a noble man?" He's like, "Yes." And he gives him a gun and shit and says, "Go find Becky and take care of her. I want her alive." And so as soon as he's out, he's like, "Sure, man." As soon as he's out the door, he's in the car and he's gone. Just beautiful. I will
say I like the crossbow bolt through the face part. That was hilarious. I laughed. I did laugh. He's speaking around. Oh my god, it was great.
Movies that, for a particular mindset, they're much more enjoyable than they are good. Particularly the second one.
I would agree with that. Yeah. I will leave Hsien and Wagner with one last thing about this movie that I forgot to mention. At the end of the film, after Becky has killed Sean William Scott, she comes back into the house and she's petting her dog, and in the background, the mom gets up.
Oh.
And she holds up a gun and says, "I guess you missed my brain," and shoots. And then it cuts to a shot of her looking in the complete opposite direction. firing the gun,
Ish.
and she's like,
That-
"Oh," and then dies again.
That I thought was actually really funny. That's the one coincidence. That's the one coincidence in this movie that I will pass, just as a great comic gag.
Yeah, but then she has the dog. She doesn't just die. She takes the dog on her, and I guess he really does like meat.
Oh yeah, that's right. She feeds
Gross.
she feeds the woman to the dog.
Yeah.
So the dog gets a great meal at the end. It is a happy
okay,
ending.
it's heartwarming.
After being hit in the head with a baseball bat.
A young person finds full-time work, and a dog gets a full meal. What more can you ask for?
A lot,
I mean,
honestly.
we all remember A Boy and His Dog.
Uh,
I don't.
It's a
At the end of the movie, what was it? The boy is happy, the dog is fed, and the girl is gone.
yeah.
A boy loves his dog.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. I think
Jane, if you have not seen A Boy and His Dog, it's
I probably have.
it's based on a Harlan Ellison story. So I am remiss if I have not brought that to you without you having seen it in your own right.
Who knows?
it's a Criterion. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
look into it.
It's a great
That-
freaking movie.
However, I will say that Jess is right. Just because it's Criterion does not mean it's watchable.
Look, everybody knows
No,
they
but-
did Armageddon for the money.
Well, no,
I like that
It's
movie.
true. It's true, though. You're right.
A Boy and His
I know,
Dog.
yeah.
Well,
They were
I
like a
don't
whole
think
new
A Boy and His Dog-
facility.
I don't think A Boy and His Dog had a Criterion. I know that it had a Shout Special Edition.
Did it not?
I don't think
That's
so.
a good-
I thought
good
it
question.
did.
No, I mean it had the old LumaVision release, which I still have around here somewhere. It had a Criterion release. I think I actually have like a front row video VHS of it somewhere that was pimping that it was early Don Johnson roll.
Oh, it is Shout Factory. Wow.
Yeah, it's not.
Great,
it's not
great,
Criterion.
great freaking movie though.
I had convinced myself that A
It
Boy
should
and
have
His
a Criterion.
Dog was on Criterion.
It should have a Criterion.
I could have sworn it. That's so weird. It's a Mandela effect that is only suffered by me and may actually just be me misremembering, which is what all
Arguable.
Mandela effects are.
In all probability.
I did find a Berenstain Bears book in my childhood books that was in storage, so I think
A
that one
boy and
puts it to
Sorry.
rest.
A Boy and His Dog is set in 2024.
Yeah, unfortunately, our animal sidekicks are not yet communicating with us telepathically.
I could use a rewatch on that. Before we
Okay,
talk
well-
about that kind of stuff, let's move to our second segment. Do it in order. I have to keep order. What did we watch this week? I will go first this time because it'll be really short. Because I finally watched Ted Lasso, or started it. I've
Yay.
I've seen 3 episodes. Yes, it is heartwarming and funny. I like it very much. And it's fantastic. And what everybody else has said about it already over the past couple of years that I can't possibly add to the conversation in any way whatsoever.
But I'm glad you're watching it.
I'm glad you're
It
enjoying
is- It's so good.
Yeah, it's
Haven't
so
seen it
good.
yet.
you
As I
haven't
always
you
say,
haven't seen it yet?
I haven't.
I hate soccer.
You have
and I
got
love
to
Ted
see it.
Lasso.
It's so good.
Yeah, I don't like soccer either. Soccer's maybe my least favorite major sport. But
Yeah,
Mine
but
too.
it's
Mine
not
too.
about that. It's
Yeah, it's
about men, actually becoming decent human
It's
beings.
about
and-
everybody becoming
Oh, it's
better
got
human
Tobin.
beings.
like people who are like men who are well, everybody gets better with Ted around. I don't know. There's something about that whole his positiveness and his and he goes through his own shit later. It's good. It's good. Everybody kind of grows up through the whole thing.
He has a
It's great.
heartwarming sarcasm to him that is just wonderful.
It's
It
a lovely show. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's not a whole lot to say about it.
Yeah. Good show.
Aside,
If
from, of course, if you haven't seen it, give it a look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd like it at all, and I went nuts for it.
Also on
Absolutely
Apple
crazy for it.
TV Plus, which I was talking with Wagner a little bit about before. Yeah, I know. It's like I say, it's a great service. You kind of have to dig for some of the gems, but some of the gems are right there on the surface.
Has
So,
anybody been watching Monarch?
yes,
No.
just wrapped up Monarch.
I
I've
have
been
not
meaning
watched the
to.
last 2 yet.
Oh, okay. I'm not saying a
So-
damn thing.
Thank you. Just
this
letting
is
you know. Yeah.
This is a bad month for me, but as soon as I have time, I'm gonna get that month of Apple Plus for season 4 of For All Mankind. I know that's
And also just wrapped up.
Oh, it just-
Also,
okay. 'Cause I've got-
absolutely
Okay.
great.
I've got
So
a
good.
gaming convention this weekend. I'm going to a Super Bowl party in a couple of weeks. I don't have time to binge a show like that, so I'm gonna wait.
Get to it.
I have heard people talking about For All Mankind for the past 6 months like it's The Wire. And I
never saw The Wire, but
I
it's
mean,
really.
Oh no, it's
really
just one of
excellent.
those. Yeah, it's just one of those shows where you're like, "Oh my god, you haven't seen it? You've got to see it." And literally everybody tells you that until you're like,
Yeah,
"Do I really
yeah.
want
So
to?"
you're like, yeah, actually, you do. It's that
do.
good.
And I've been hearing that about For All Mankind for the past 6 months, but I have not been aware of this show in any shape or form before then. I have no awareness of this show. I
Really?
don't know where it came from. I have not talked about it with anyone until
Well, we talk
you
about
guys
it. I mean,
until you
Bob-
guys started
Bob
talking
turned
about
us on
Well,
to it,
season
and I was
one
kind of
had
like, eh.
You know, season 1 had a ton of buzz. That's where I heard
it.
about
Yeah,
it.
I went online and I looked it up, and there's
I-
it's huge. It's like one of those phenomenon shows or whatever.
Here's what happened, because I had initially noticed it, thought, oh, that sounds intriguing, and just kind of filed it away, and then Bob circled back on it, because he is as much interested in stuff about the space program as he is in alternate history. Here's what happened, and here's why it got back to you 6 months ago, having been radio silent for however long before that. That was the word of mouth reaching critical mass to the point where it reached you organically.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
direct- not directed, yeah.
it is a show with a mounting following. So
Yeah.
that was just the point where it finally got back to you after where the advertising had ceased, and it was just the people who knew about the show or had seen the show talking to friends who they got to see the show. Monkey telephone all the way back to you.
It sounds like I need to catch up on this thing.
You really
It's
do.
really good.
It is the greatest alternate history TV program ever.
Do I need to see it?
Of course
Yeah.
you need to see it.
Do you like space stuff? If you
I-
like space stuff,
I
then
do,
you're
I do.
right there.
It
Yeah.
is
Then-
weapons grade space porn.
I
It is.
I'm not even that into space, but I think it's amazing.
It is. It is. So good. Yay. Nate's going to watch
I
it
mean,
sometime.
you like Joel Kinnaman, right? And
he's in
oh my
it.
God.
Yeah.
He's the lead.
Fuck. I love
and
him.
what's her face? Sophia, what from Lost? Penny from Lost is in it.
Oh,
She's
shit.
great. Who else?
Sophie,
I mean, not a lot of other
Sophia-
like
Season four has Daniel Stern as the head of NASA,
Okay,
and he's great.
I can believe it. Yeah, everybody's great.
And
in it.
the aging makeup they do too, because it's every 10
Really
years.
solid.
It's
Wow.
very good. I mean, I'm like, really? How did they get that 80-year-old dude to look just like Joel Kinnaman? I don't
God.
know. Anyway, it's really good. It's really good.
Season 1 of Altered Carbon is where I realized that I love Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah.
The first time I saw him was on that murder show that Seattle, The Killing,
Yeah,
which
that's where I found him as well.
which he was very fun and unique on. He was a very unique character. He was like an archetype character, but a unique version of an archetype character. That was very interesting. But that show went off the rails, like
Yeah,
completely. But he was always good.
But he was good. He was good. He was not lovable.
No.
No.
Altered Carbon, I thought he was just magnificent in. So yeah, I like him a lot. I am still upset that they killed him in Suicide Squad. That James Gunn killed him off. And like made certain to was like, no, he's dead. He's not a superhero coming back or anything like that. That bullet went into, or that knife went into his heart, pierce the heart. We're going to see it. Blood's going to come out, and he's going to get one last line to make fucking John Cena feel like shit. It was a very sad moment. I like Joel Kinnaman more than John Cena. I wish John Cena had died and Joel Kinnaman had a show.
I don't. Peacemaker was kind of friggin'
wish the
amazing.
character.
Peacemaker was so good.
Character, not John Cena, right?
Uh,
I wish John Cena had died on the set of Suicide Squad. Ooh,
Ooh, yeah.
No, not him literally, but Peacemaker. Yes, got it.
I love it. Anyway, what else
And you
is...
could say, but then we wouldn't have gotten the Peacemaker show. There are other ways we could have gotten the Peacemaker show without, taking Joel Kinnaman's deeply underwritten character from the first Suicide Squad movie, putting him in the second one, giving him a full, robust, entertaining, relatable, a complete performance, a complete package character, and then fucking killing him. There are other ways to have gotten the Peacemaker series out of that. That said, Gunn likes to fuck with you.
There are things I love about Gunn, but there are some habits he's developed in his filmmaking that I don't like so much. Here and there, just little tidbits, and that's one of the things I'm not particularly fond of. Is he likes kind of not just making sure that the previous movie that everybody hated, this is the opposite of that. That is better than that. He's also killing off the only last cast member from that movie, right? Except for Viola Davis and Harley Quinn. And then it's just Joel Kinnaman, and that's all this. Those are the remnants from the first movie, as far as I remember. So they
killed. Of course, they killed off Captain Boomerang right at the beginning, which is a pity because
I forgot he was in it because he just died immediately. But yeah, they killed off the old crew to prove that the new crew had to go up against something really bad, and it's an old trope that I'm not into. And they couldn't kill Harley Quinn, and they couldn't kill Viola Davis, Amanda Waller, because they are too important. They are too popular.
Kinnaman was different. Rick Flag was different because he was kind of a nothing character in the first one.
Right.
In this case, the killing off Captain Boomerang, that sort of thing at the beginning of the movie. That's divorcing itself from the prior installment in the franchise. Kinnaman was different because that was a full redemption to the character, to the writing of the character, to everything about the character. That was the money kill. That was the, oh, damn kill.
Yeah, I don't believe in that. I don't like money kills like that because...
James Gunn does.
Yeah, I know he does. And he does it better than anybody. But you know who made me hate them is Joss Whedon.
Mm-hmm.
Because he does the same shit, but he's a prick about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say the money kill was Polka Dot Man, but that's me.
Oh, God, it was heartbreaking.
Wasn't it, though?
It was.
I honestly couldn't care less about Rick Flag because I didn't think he was all that interesting. I know they did a hell of a lot better job with him, but I still didn't care about him. I cared about Polka Dot Man.
He was great. I will say, to be fair, I don't care about Rick Flag. I care about Joel Kinnaman.
I'm with you on that.
So, I just want to see him in more stuff.
I mean,
you can. Now you have 4 seasons.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. I do care about both Polka Dot Man and David Dasmalchian. Wherever he turns up. So he kind of got short shrift as Peter de Vries in Denis Villeneuve's Dune. I felt a little bad about that.
So Shane, you highly recommend For All Mankind. I will start watching it.
That's maybe the hardest I've binged a show in a long time.
Wow.
There's a post you made on Facebook maybe 3 years ago. I don't even know when. I don't even know if you remember it, but you said something that stuck with me. You said that you were really looking for a show to sink your teeth into.
Yeah.
And just that wording, this is the show to sink your teeth into. That's what I was looking for when I found that. That's the wording that was in my head as I was binging this show.
Yeah.
So I really think you want to. This will be a good show. I think you could even maybe watch this. Are your kids into space at all?
No.
I'm trying to think of how much adult content.
Declan likes vehicles.
Declan likes vehicles. He likes vehicles on the ground, and he likes building them and designing them. He likes to watch them race. Both Amelia and Declan have zero interest. Zero
There's
interest
there's
in
some politics. There's a lot
sci-fi.
of training. There's a lot of that
Sorry,
stuff that might be
sorry.
boring for kids.
Yeah.
But the space stuff, I'm talking like gravity level scenes in space. Like whenever something goes wrong, which it always does, it's like that level of tension and then that well done and stuff. It's really good stuff.
Yeah.
It will also make you pissed that the space race did not continue in this world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like
What-
really pissed.
Everything's better.
I have stopped being pissed about this world and just kind of become numb and emotionless to it, and just like, well,
Sink into fantasy.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, I know that's how despots take over and everything, is to grind it down until people are just like, fine, fuck off. I can't do it anymore. I can't fight anymore. I'm exhausted. I'm fucking 42 years old, and I'm not even the youngest. I'm the youngest person here, for Christ's sake.
Are
You
you?
are.
Yeah, you are.
Wow.
Back in my day, yeah, I don't even know how to
Lay
finish
off
that.
me,
It's
Pops.
It's been my day the whole time, and it's been yours for all but 6 of it.
It's your fault that everything of my generation is bad. You hurt the people of 1 year later. Mr. Show.
Mhm.
It's a Mr. Show bit. Yeah.
I don't remember that one specifically, but
Yeah,
there was a
yeah.
lot of Mr. Show, and
There's
it's
a
been
lot of
while.
Mr. Show.
I watched all 3 seasons in like a week when we did the episode. I think. So
Yeah.
there's a lot to take in.
I've been watching that a lot with Declan because he loves Jack Black.
Oh yeah.
Oh God,
He
what
loves
was it?
Tobias. Like, hey,
Yes.
it's Tobias.
Yes, Tobias is one of his favorite characters. He thinks he's hilarious. And then he sees that David Cross is from Mr. Show, and he's like, oh, that's David Cross? And he was friends with Jack Black? Wait, they all work together? And when you showed me the Tenacious D TV show, that's them too? And it's like, he's just so excited, and I fucking
Aw.
love it.
He's making that media buff's network of connections.
He's doing it.
The neural network is expanding. He's starting to see the relations of things.
Man, how did
That's
Jack
cool.
Black?
That's cool. That's very cool.
How did Jack Black never guest in Arrested Development? I mean, he might have been too much, maybe, but
Yeah, I think you would have been
there's a
too
lot
much.
of big comic actors who had little bit parts and stuff.
Yeah, he would have been gettable. Maybe it just never happened. Maybe Mitch Hurwitz is not friends with Jack Black. I mean,
Or maybe he was in it but disguised and we didn't know.
keep in mind, Bob Odenkirk was
Black.
only on one episode of Arrested Development, so I don't think there's a big Mr. Show connection there, other than
True, because we
David
didn't get
Cross.
like Brian Posehn or like Marilyn Rice Gubb, any of those
Yeah.
show people, or Jay Johnston. Wait, no, he was in it. He was in it a lot.
Oh, we saw him on the 6th at the insurrection.
Yeah, we did.
Jack Black has a cameo throwing darts dressed as a chimney sweep in Wee Britain.
Oh,
That is where he is in
That
Arrested Development.
that makes perfect sense because he sings a song in the Mr. Show movie.
Mm.
Give her a kick in the cunt. A kick in the cunt. What's tragic is that was cut for time rather than content. I liked that bit. That's the only bit that stuck with me from that movie, to be honest. The had nothing to do with the rest of the movie. What else have people seen today that they want to talk about?
Andy, why don't you go next?
Well, like I
We're
say,
doing
of course.
three, right?
What,
We're
Shane?
doing 3 each. Is that how we're?
Something
Yeah.
like that,
I do have a
Did,
little bit of.
Wait, Shane, did you?
No, didn't
were you
say,
saying something?
Yeah, weren't we? Are we doing like 3? Is that? I mean, I only have 3, but
Yeah.
is that what we discussed?
Same.
Okay.
Yeah.
I only have 3, but I do have a little bit of Wagner style show and tell.
Oh,
Okay.
Of course, For All Mankind was one of my 3, and I think we've litigated that pretty effectively at this point. Monarch, for crap's sake, finish Monarch, because I want to talk about Monarch. And rewatching Jess Franco's Count Dracula, the one the Christopher, the one where Christopher Lee was in a reasonably accurate adaptation of Dracula, because, and this is the show and tell, my Severin Black Friday order finally showed up.
Ah.
Ordered it on Black Friday. Arrived a few days before my birthday. But my God, they are gorgeous. Got 4K iteration of Jess Franco's Bram Stoker's Count Dracula, including CD soundtrack. Saw this one I've seen. The 4K transfer is unbelievably beautiful. I did not know that movie could look that good. And I don't need to go. It'd be a waste of time to go into the history of the previous video releases. Suffice it to say, I can't imagine the movie ever looking better or being more complete than it is there. So that's nice. Now, one of the previous Blu-ray of that included the legendary sort of art house making of documentary by the avant-garde filmmaker Pierre Portabella as a supplemental feature, but that actually got its own separate release along with one of Portabella's other films, also with Christopher Lee, only as a Blu-ray, but even so came out at the same time. So that's neat. Let's see. Oh, yes. CD soundtrack. And if you've ever seen Bram Stoker's Count Dracula, it has a really interesting, unusual score by the great Bruno Nicolai, who was one of Ennio Morricone's proteges. Also, this I still haven't seen yet. I just know it by reputation. But Spider Labyrinth apparently is one of the greatest of the extremely obscure Italian horror films. Yeah,
Cool.
Beautiful addition by all accounts. Just haven't seen it yet. But of course, really the big three, and Michaela Soavi's The Church, including CD soundtrack. Unfortunately, not with the Philip Glass track, which kind of made the picture, but still really, really good looking. I took a brief look at the beginning of this. It is gorgeous.
I remember you showing me that movie and kind of like pre-movie apologize for aspects of it. But I really like that movie.
Oh, no, that movie's gotten better. It was the movie that was deemed too good to be part of the Demons franchise.
Yes.
Was originally supposed to be Demons 3. Of course, those have improved with age as well, weirdly enough. They still need to release a director's cut of Demons 2, but I don't know if Lamberto Bava can be reached. He's probably too busy. Then, of course, it's The Church's really, really, really freaking weird follow-up, The Sect, which is deeply strange. The Church is great. The Sect is interesting. Neat performance by Herbert Lom. Neat performance by Kelly Curtis, Jamie Lee Curtis's sister. A little bit disfocused, but one of the creepier sort of cults in horror movie history. But then, of course, the franchise, and the reason why it took them so damn long to get me my copies, because they had to author as many as they sold. The Church was great. The Sect is interesting. Della Morte dell'Amore is one of the greatest movies ever made. And I had a legit release in quite a while.
I wish I had known that were happening. I would have sent you money to order me one too. God.
Oh, sorry.
It's one of my favorite movies. It's in my top 10 entertaining films list.
This one got the full slipcase release, including book, UHD release, Blu-ray release, extra Blu-ray of supplemental features, and CD soundtrack. It is honking exhaustive. I've listened to the soundtrack, and it is every bit as great. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but it's every bit as great as I remembered. I can't wait to actually have the time to sit down and really dig into the movie and the supplemental features. But that one's the pièce de résistance of the bunch.
When I was younger and dating, every time I broke up with somebody, I would inevitably say to myself, I'm really through with love.
The movie is, just because the rights have been in such a strange place for such a long time, it's one of those things that is much more obscure than it has any right to be. That is a movie that should be on the tips of the brains of the whole millennial generation, certainly anybody older.
It's one of the best zombie films ever made. And it's one of the best in the genre, let alone the many other genres it happens to encompass.
Yeah.
I showed that one for movie night, and I will always remember that when it got to the point of the sort of dunderhead assistant playing a flute while the disembodied head of his love trailed after him on the grass, of our friend Casey going into absolute hysterics in the front row, laughing his ass off during that whole sequence.
It's even the little spirits in the graveyard are kind of like Ghibli stuff. It's just, it's a really
Yeah.
cool movie.
I mean, it's supernatural, zombies, romance, comedy, low key musical element here and there. Just absolutely one of the greatest movies ever made. It's still a crying shame that
I wouldn't go that
Soavi-
far.
I would. Top 20. It's still an absolute crying shame that Soavi never made another horror movie. He keeps talking about he might got around to it, but that one. That one's his thesis. He can do something else if he really wants to.
I don't think I believe in ranking movies
top 20 is just a number. I have no
outside of their
idea.
genre. Yeah. I don't think I have a top 10 of all time because it's so subjective.
I have a top 5 of all time, but outside of that, I will say top 20 about at least 100 different movies.
Yeah.
But Della Morte Dell'Amore / Cemetery Man is absolutely one of them.
If when you say all time, in my mind, I think like for everybody, like it's just period, regardless of your taste. I don't think it fits in that category.
That's why I only have 5. If you get beyond the absolutes, things expand too much to be directly comparable.
I just realized this conversation is stupid. This is kind of a neurodivergent thing I do. I find stupid details and harp on. I don't know. We can move on.
Note that my 5 greatest movies does not more than passingly resemble my 10 favorite movies. They're 2 different lists.
Yeah.
Leave that aside.
The only movie I think belongs on every list at number 1 is Vertigo, and that's indisputable.
Okay.
What? I need to hear more. What have you guys watched? We can move on if somebody says what they watched.
That was my stuff.
Okay. You're all done. Okay. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of Della Morte Dell'Amore.
Alrighty. Who's next?
You are.
Doesn't matter me.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Or no, mine's not going to be very interesting. So I don't know. Maybe
then let's do Jane first.
Let's end on a high with Matt. I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
As normal, we'll go over the. I swear I saw some movie. I don't know what it was. I don't know. I swear I saw a movie. That was not, I don't know.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't know. But I finished up My Whole of Love, which was fine. But again, here's my problem. I've been watching all these Korean shows, just looking for one that's sponsored by Subway again. Everything I've watched lately is not sponsored by Subway. But
Subway don't have that Korean money anymore.
I guess they don't. I find it upsetting.
They're giving up the life.
Game. They must be, but there's 2 more episodes of My Demon left, which I actually really have been enjoying a lot. It stars, like I said, the gross girl from Clean with a Passion for Now, and she's really pretty in this. And then the lead guy from
Project.
Well, what is that? Sweet Home. Sweet Home. Oh, he doesn't look cute at all in Sweet Home with his long hair and his bloody nose, but oh my gosh, he's handsome. He is fine. Maybe it's because he's grown up. I don't know. Whatever. He is just beautiful. But it is sponsored by Cartier and Vita Cafe drinks. They all work for Vita Cafe. And they drink these brightly colored drinks and talk about how refreshing they are. So apparently it's kind of along the lines of I can't remember the name of it. The one that was Bibigo Foods.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, but it's Cartier. They all wear like beautiful jewelry and give beautiful jewelry to each other. So that's really nice. Well, there's 2 more episodes left. So I'm just praying for a Subway. Come on, give it to me.
Maybe Subway took its money out of these streets.
I don't know. I went and ate Subway tonight to give them more money so they could invest in Korean cinema. I'm just saying.
You got to keep in mind that the Subway adverts were so popular in Korean drama that John Oliver did a bit on it.
I know.
An entire episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, I watched it, and then I haven't seen the Subway one. Subway made their own Korean drama. It's 4 episodes, and I haven't gotten to it yet. Maybe I'll do that tonight. Maybe I'll
but
just do that tonight.
everybody wants in on it now. Like all these big companies are trying to get deals with Korean dramas because it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Two,
But it works.
it's shockingly realistic to our everyday lives, more so than you see in movies and TV shows where it's nondescript restaurant when you're probably in shit bag fast food restaurant for real. And I like that. I know they're all clean in Korea, but it's in South Korea. It's apparently an incredibly clean country. That's what Don says.
That's what it looks like. I don't know. Of course, I'm getting the whole advertisement, but anyway. So yeah, I keep praying for that. But I've tried to find something to sink my teeth into. I want the perfect show, the one that I want to go back to, and I still haven't found it. Instead, I found My Man is Cupid. This is on Prime. It's about a gentleman and his three brothers who are fairies, cupids, that they shoot their arrows or shoot their bullets at people, and they fall in love. And he finds a girl who does not have a red thread of fate at all, and because he can see them, the red threads going between people, and so he knows who to shoot. But anyway, she falls in love with him. He falls in love with her. It really could be. I think it was Webtoon. But anyway, so yeah, it's all really confusing, and it goes back and forth between the Joseon period and the modern day and the 60s, and this guy is 500 years old, and his brothers, and one of them turns into a yellow Labrador that's extremely obese, and it's very cute. And
can hang out with the Full Metal Alchemist dog.
I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on at this point. Apparently now the guy thinks that he should have a relationship with the girl, even though she's a human and he's a fairy, but he thought maybe she was an angel. Does he actually believe in angels? Maybe. I don't know. The whole thing is a mess, and I'm going to finish it in a few episodes, and I doubt I'm going to like it any better than I do. So anyway, that's it. That's all I watched.
I have some questions.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this guy can see lines that point people in their fate direction, like their
and
so it was in Urusei Yatsura.
Yes,
Beautiful
because
Dreamer.
Ataru had a fist. Ataru had a fistful
yes,
of them.
that's what I was thinking.
So these people's fate is determined. It's happening no matter what.
Yeah.
So why does he have to shoot them, right?
Yeah.
Well,
why is he making?
I think he pushes it to happen. Honestly, it's a mess. I don't understand.
Like, is his fate to shoot them, or is he making like an actual choice?
Maybe he can actually see them, and I don't know. He makes a choice because he knows he's supposed to shoot the girl with no red line of fate, and the police officer that is helping on some because of the Korean dramas. Almost every time there's a romance, there is a serial murderer at the same time.
Yes! Oh my god, that's just a subplot in Korean dramas. It's amazing.
It's almost constant. And this guy is murdering women he hands them a red book, and each book has it's a notebook and it's blank, but on the cover, written in black, is one of the 7 sins of the Joseon era women. Like if they have a disease, or they're a thief, or if they cannot produce a male heir. So he finds the killer finds out. Yeah, it's horrible. Adultery was another one. He finds out that if somebody is doing something along this line, and then if they fill out the whole notebook in 24 hours, reflecting upon their sins, then he won't kill them. But they're all like, that shit, and he kills them.
Oh my god. They just made the 16,000 word essay on why you shouldn't cheat on tests into a Korean drama. Right?
That's it. I don't know. It's a mess.
That is much more interesting to me than anything about the Red String of Fate.
Well, My Man is Cupid is on. It's completely clean. I think it says they're smoking, but I haven't seen it. Oh, they're well, yeah, that's true. But it's not gross murder. They don't show a lot. There is a flasher, but
Becky.
they blur out his crotch. So that's kind of fun. He goes up and tries to flash some some teenage girl star heroine can beat that shit out of him. I don't know.
And they blur it.
They blur it. They blur
God, that's
boogers.
brilliant.
They blur poop.
Japanese porn or something.
Yeah,
They just-
they blur everything. They
That's
blur
awesome.
boogers, poop, whatever, dog poop.
People do not understand the comedic value of a blur.
Of the blur. Well, it's not a blur. It's the digital blur. The little
I know.
square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that shit is always the funniest ones are when
This
it
is
just stays
funny.
in one place and somebody leans forward. It shows their whole fucking face. It's so great. Those are my favorites.
And of course, the all-time greatest.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Uh,
Oh,
the one from Pally's, which was about to be, and it's like,
Hey, kiss my shoe, you father.
what a Chinese dentist.
Why? I'll tell you why. It was. Thank you
We'll be
for.
right back. It's the Sunday Sunshine Fun Time Picture Show, or whatever the hell it was.
That's still my favorite sketch.
Oh, absolutely.
Though I found my second favorite that I've been rewatching a bunch in the last few days is the Monsters of Megaphone.
I don't remember that one.
Elevator, baby loves my elevator. Rides it up and down the
yes.
elevator. Baby rides it all day long. Thank you.
Yes. I remember that bit.
do not
And
remember that
that's
one.
all of Mr. Show I've seen. So
That one.
when we watched it for the show we did.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I never released that episode, I don't think. Yeah, I didn't.
What?
Yeah. I have like 29 unreleased episodes.
Yeah,
That's
one
right.
really
We
works.
had a big backup there for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I just ran out of time in editing them. I'm considering just putting them up unedited.
Call it
Go
the lost season.
I mean, it's not like I haven't said stupid shit and I need to edit it out of a live stream, right? Like, I don't seem to care anymore. That's the only reason I would edit them, was if I said something shitty or somebody else said something that was just like completely irrelevant and lands with a thud, I just cut it.
well, also we would do things like we would do the clap. And
Yeah.
remember, sometimes we kind of mess up the clap.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious. Just leave it in. Leave it in.
I just
We're all like this.
leave in the lead and everything. It's like 4 hours long and just unedited raw footage.
Yeah, just call it the Watt P archive.
Oh, that's
Anyway,
funny.
I'm done. If Matt's ready, that was all I.
Shane, did you already go or?
I haven't gone. Wait, do you want to
Oh,
go
I
last?
thought you
Matt?
I thought you did. I'm sorry. Because you were
Did
talking
you-
about.
I don't mind. Mine's not that good.
Did
so
you
you're
start to go
welcome
and then you didn't get to finish because we talked over you?
No, I
That's
haven't. No, I
Because
didn't start
that's a
already.
possibility.
No, you were just asking if we were still sticking to the three things.
Yeah, all I did was ask about that. I didn't.
Oh.
start anything.
Well,
Well,
let's
go ahead.
let's do Shane
Me?
before.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
All right, I got three. One was I got dragged to Mean Girls, which is fine. I've only seen the original one time. I went with a friend who'd seen it like 10 times. I think I enjoyed it more than she did. She was very disappointed.
Mhm.
They remade Mean Girls.
As a musical, they made so this was an
By
adaptation-
they mean Tina Fey.
Tina Fey, yeah, she wrote the screenplay. So this was made into a musical, the original, and this is a movie based on the musical. So it's a musical, but still starring Tina Fey, and then none of the original stars. Like John Hamm plays the teacher. Tim Meadows plays the principal.
He was
probably
the principal in the original.
Yeah.
I've only
Yeah.
seen it once.
Yeah. Good
It
movie.
was fine. It was.
It
I
gave us
enjoyed it.
Rachel McAdams.
Yeah, we
It
did-
gave us a lot of things. It gave us
So this-
Fetch.
This had the same characters. It was Regina King, is her name,
Yeah.
but not played by Rachel. I think it was the
George,
girl from the
Regina
actual
George.
musical.
Regina George. Yeah.
The Betsy
Regina King
Brandt-
is a real person.
Yes.
Oh, she's a filmmaker, right?
Yes.
Betsy Brandt from the MCU Spider-Man movies plays the lead. Caddy or something. They keep
Katie.
calling her
It's
Caddy.
Katie, but it's spelled
Yeah.
Cady.
Yeah. So it's a musical. I don't remember a single song. Movie seemed fine. I enjoyed it. My friend who was a big fan of the original didn't enjoy it. Don't really see a reason for this movie to exist, but it seemed well attended. People were cheering. People clapped at the end when we saw it in the theater.
People love the original film, and
the
people
original's a really good movie. Like,
people
so
love people love the musical. It's an award-winning musical. Like
Right.
pretty much anything that's on Broadway has made it that far. It's going to get an award,
Yeah, but I
unless
can
it's a
tell you what,
total crash and burn.
I don't remember any of the songs, but I enjoyed it. I probably won't watch it again.
I want to say one thing. I completely forgot to mention this, unless I did mention this and forgot. I watched Mean Girls with Amelia and Jess last week.
Oh.
I just rewatched it with them and showed it to Amelia for the first time. It's really fun. It's still really good. I kind of agree with you. I don't understand the point of the musical, but if it introduces a new generation to what is essentially an archetype for young women in our society for the last 100 years, then yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
It is so weird that Mean Girls has been around long enough it has a remake. Because that movie just came out a couple years ago.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater.
Yeah.
I had a job, a real job like an adult when I saw that in the theater. Like I was a grown-up who drank a lot and went to anime conventions.
I'm telling you, it just came out a couple years ago.
I saw it on the back of an airplane seat. So.
That's how you see a lot of your movies, right?
Well, it was. I don't fly nearly as much. This
That's
was several years ago, but go ahead.
Okay. So this is one from that I saw during the break that I forgot about. I also saw in theaters. I saw the new Yorgos Lanthimos film Poor Things.
Oh, how is it? How is it?
It's fantastic.
Is it as good as I hear?
It is fantastic. It is. I don't want to give away too much about it. I went in blind. All I knew was that it was Emma Stone and she's weird for some reason. So this is like a ferociously feminist, sex positive movie. My friend had a really funny take on this. He said this is as if somebody had a monkey's paw and wished for a movie with a lot of Emma Stone nudity and sex. So this movie is wall to wall with that, but you feel really weird about it. Once you find out what's going on, you'll feel really, really weird about it.
It's Lanthimos. You're gonna feel weird about
it.
Yeah.
I mean, just because you feel weird doesn't mean you won't do the business, you know?
Well, you feel weird for... I can't even go into why you feel weird about it.
I want to see it so badly. Don't tell me. I love Emma Stone.
No spoilers, because I still cannot wait to see that.
I mean, she's going to get Best Actress. I mean,
I
think it's a done deal, I think.
I love her so much.
She's
amazing
in this. The things she does, the things she allows herself to do in this movie.
She was a major part of building the movie and getting it made, right?
It must have been. I believe so. And Willem Dafoe's amazing in this. Mark Ruffalo is hilarious as the biggest asshole you've ever seen.
Mark Ruffalo plays an Yes, I love it.
Hilarious.
Okay, I'm already there.
He's not an asshole. He's a heel.
Yeah, he is. It's
That's
great.
excellent.
I mean, just go see it. I won't say anything about it. Go in blind if you can. I didn't know what was going on. You find out about half an hour in what's going on, but I won't give that away. And then finally, I watched The Loved Ones.
What'd you think?
I didn't get around to that.
So I was led to believe that this was a fun, funny movie. I spent
who told you that?
Well,
I think it's funny.
You have to be a certain kind of movie watcher, cinephile, to understand that kind of humor, in my opinion.
I mean, I didn't hate this movie, but I guess I was expecting... Okay, so I know, Matt, you haven't seen it, right?
I have not seen it,
so
but I know the basic premise. I know the premise. I know the
general premise. I was expecting sort of like a Carrie situation where this girl was jilted or treated poorly.
Oh, no.
No, she just asked the guy to dance. He says, no, I'm going to go with my girlfriend. She's like, all right, here we go. So
Such great motivation.
That's a great way of putting that, too.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was kind of... Look, the violence, the torture, whatever... I mean, sure, it's rough. That didn't bother me so much. It was more, I'm like, because of this lack of motivation, and like, what is the purpose of this? What is the sense of what she's doing? Again, I don't want to say too much because of that. Like, I didn't know why the movie.
Go say as much as you like. I'm not going to get to it for a while, so I'll forget by the time I do get to it.
I mean, I just found myself not really engaged with it. The main character I didn't really care about, and he's even prevented from speaking after, very early into the proceedings. I guess it's just not for me. I kept during the movie
And
thinking, like,
yet-
when does this get fun? Like,
And yet you all came after me for Hsien Mutante and the metal staples.
I liked Hsien Mutante.
I know. I'm kidding. Go
I
on.
don't know. Have me rewatch it when I'm in a manic mood, and maybe I'll enjoy it more. It totally depends.
I mean, I can't deny that it was well made, and obviously there are people who enjoy this kind of thing. I guess it's just not my kind
It's
of
like
thing.
the abject relentlessness of the female lead.
Yeah. That's
like
why
particularly that bit of
that
along
was
the road at the end of the picture.
there is a long history of having badass women commit violent acts against people within the horror subgenres
Fetish community.
and fetish communities that is really particular, and I think this is one of the better representations of it. I thought that's why I like the movie. I think it has a place where it's firmly within the genre that it meant to be, but it is not a genre for everybody. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it was definitely well made. I mean,
Think of it as Pretty in Pink meets Wolf Creek.
That's a great way of putting it. Yeah,
they tried to get me to watch Wolf Creek at one point.
Wolf Creek, even I don't like.
That's like saying you like Wolf Creek is a red flag. It's the same thing as saying you like Solo. Nobody likes Solo.
Yeah. Wolf Creek.
We respect it.
Yes, that dude from Wolf Creek is very high on my list of reasons we do not go to Australia. He's not quite up there with the Gimpy, but he's actually above the spiders.
Yeah, Nate, one time you came to visit, you brought over 2 DVDs. You brought over Hostel and you brought over Wolf Creek, and you got me to watch Hostel.
Wow, I look at Nate differently now.
I was okay. I was in my
I
was in my 20s. We were all a little edgelordy. I was watching Family Guy and thinking it was good. That's the age we lived in. I would laugh at that show. It's very not funny. There are funny bits. I have to admit
It has some funny parts. I will laugh watching it, but yeah, you're right.
I got drunk and sat through Hostel. It was fine.
The thing about Hostel is I rewatch it now, and I liked it at the time because at the time what was popular was Quentin Tarantino, Eli Roth, and loving artistic Asian filmmakers. And Takashi Miike showing up gave a lot of street cred to people who liked those genres. So some of us were a little blindsided by Eli Roth. Eventually, that wore off, and like me and many others, we rewatched his work and became completely sick of it and grew to hate him, only to find out that apparently Thanksgiving is good. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
I saw a picture once of him lounging in a pool with Quentin Tarantino and some other guy, and they both had their disgusting director bodies just laying out in the sun like they should be showing it to the world and not hiding it with shame like the rest of us. And it just, looking at that picture turned me off because it was the richest, just most wealthy, the epitome of Hollywood wealth in the picture. But they're trying to look like these gritty filmmakers who do cutting edge things. And really, Hostel is really kids stuff compared to some of the Miike stuff out there. Like having Miike in that film is kind of like having Alfred Hitchcock show up in a Michael Bay film.
Ooh, wow.
I think that might be a
pretty
slight
extreme.
overstatement, but I see what you're saying in any case.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a bit of hyperbole, but
Oh, we all know I love hyperbole.
Yes.
Anyways, those were my 3. I did finish Arcane, by the way, and I found out season 2 is coming in November. I thought it was a one-off, but it ends on a cliffhanger. Definitely worth watching. Still no interest in League of Legends.
I will I don't want to play that game ever.
But watch the show. The show's great.
Real quick, speaking of Netflix anime, very brief shout out. It's still in progress, so I'm not really talking about it comprehensively. But if you haven't already given a look at the anime Delicious in
Yes,
Dungeon,
that's on my
It
list.
keeps telling me I need to.
I love
I need
food
to.
anime.
there are only 2 episodes out so far, which
Oh.
is aggravating because it's a normal-sized show.
I didn't
And it's
realize
coming
that.
out week by week, but they're absolutely charming. It's about a party of adventurers, like roguelike adventurers, like dungeon delvers, learning to craft delicious, nutritious meals from the monsters in
Oh,
it.
just a screensaver thing on
It's
Netflix?
utterly charming.
I'm like, I need to watch that.
What?
It's on
Yeah.
my
Uh-oh.
list.
Watch that with my
Oh,
wife.
shit.
She
Okay,
She's-
there we go. Okay,
she's
my
not
my
there.
entire computer just froze. Whole thing just
Had a momentary
stopped.
flutter.
Yeah, everything
Yeah, you
everything
froze there
choked.
for a second. You're back.
It looks like the stream is still going on YouTube for now.
Okay.
I'm worried about my connection. I need to look into that. It's weird.
Well, you're coming through clearly at this point, aside from that
Nothing
flutter.
It
happened.
always happens at the same time, 2 hours in. Maybe YouTube has some sort of flag.
Right.
It might. It truly might. Though in the first time it happened 36 minutes in, so we didn't even finish our discussion on the movie. It sucked because that was a 2.5 hour episode.
I remember that one.
Yeah. 36 minutes. Oh, heartbreaking.
That was your 3, Hsien?
Yep, 3.
Yep. I only really have 2, so I'll put a note up as well, and this shouldn't take long at all. First, movie night.
Yeah.
Oh, yay.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Right
Yay,
on.
Labyrinth.
That is Jess's
good.
favorite movie.
That's one of my wife's favorite movies as well. I really, really like it. I think she likes Dark Crystal a little bit better than Labyrinth, but they're still
I'm in
both
that
very
boat.
far up there.
Yeah.
They're both very far up there. Kids stayed fascinated all the way through, including the boys. Lizzie, this was a repeat on movie night, and Lizzie says she didn't remember anything from the first time we showed it. So we gotta figure out the residence time of some of these things in her head so we can be sure of what sticks.
I've been running
and then
into
I
that
did
too. I
finish up
totally get it.
weird.
Still want to
Yeah.
see that.
Oh yeah.
Great fun. I kind of want to give away one of the main jokes midway through the film, but I'm not gonna. It's one that it takes a moment to realize exactly what they're doing, but it is in fact hilarious.
There are
David
a lot of those.
Dastmalchian. Yeah, David Dastmalchian is in the film as I had it up and now I can't remember, as John Deacon from Queen. And he has to explain who he is in the scene he appears in. That from Queen. And but I think it's really best summed up by saying that in one of the musical sequences, Emo Phillips as Salvador Dali plays a trout with a violin bow. So that just works.
Yeah.
Also
kind of a callback to UHF.
I just rewatched that. Was it Just Call Me Mr. Butterfinger?
That's one of
I always
Declan's
liked Emo
favorite
Phillips.
movies.
I always liked Emo Phillips from a lot of his stand-up, so it was great fun. But I mean, there's not too much you can talk about a comedy. There's a great setup. It's exactly the parody that you think it is. We learn that as a youth, he was at a wild polka party when it was busted by the police, and he was caught with a accordion, and of course brought home to the shame of his parents, and
who were
there's actually a
completely
scene-
unsupportive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a scene where the mom says, your father and I have been talking, and we've decided that you really should stop trying to be you and stop trying to be all the unique things that you are and just act normal. So it plays into it very well. Daniel Radcliffe is having a hell of a time. There's a whole bunch of every possible cameo you can think of, except Mark Hamill. They didn't get Mark Hamill. They wanted to, but the scheduling didn't work out.
Did you know that Yorma Tacome and Paul worked with Paul Rubens, who was his buddy, to play Pee-wee?
No, I didn't know that. I will say I
not
don't.
know
Their
that.
Tiny Tim, got as close as you can to Tiny Tim, which is not very close. Tiny Tim was
That's
just
an
too weird of a fellow, and they don't
accurate.
really get very. Yeah, they don't really get very close to Tiny Tim, either in appearance or like acting. But
when I saw, and also when I saw Tenacious D recently, he did his impression.
oh, okay,
Jack Black
okay,
did, and mentioned the
yeah,
film, so it was a lot of fun.
yeah, yeah. He's fun in it too, as the evil opposition to Dr. Demento. So who plays a major part in the obviously someone playing
and is greatly cast.
Rainn
Yes.
Wilson. Yeah.
Rainn Wilson. He's a very good match for Dr.
That's
Demento.
Oh,
that's a person who I don't like as a person, but
Oh,
respect greatly as like an actor and
Rainn
artist.
Wilson?
oh, the actor. I thought you were saying you didn't like Dr. Demento.
No, Dr. Demento is one of the most fish
Yeah.
heads,
Fish
roly
heads,
poly
roly
fish
poly
heads.
fish heads.
Like, what could you
Directed by
possibly
Bill
have against
Paxton.
Dr. Demento?
That,
Yeah, I was like, what could you possibly have against Dr. Demento?
No,
Okay,
not
okay.
Dr. Demento.
That's fine. And the other thing I just finished watching today was Secret Invasion.
Oh.
Everyone told me I didn't need to bother, and they were pretty right.
Yeah.
Other than one kind of neat special effects fight scene at the very end where we have two super Skrulls fighting each other, it was just not any fun. And and all it did by the end of the series was make things worse. So
Olivia Colman was fun. She
That's true.
absolutely devoured that show every second that she was on screen.
She's
There just
always
wasn't
fun.
anywhere near enough of her. And
very true.
Samuel Jackson did not seem like he was having a very good time.
no.
Yeah,
I only watched the first 3 that they put on Hulu. I don't know what they were hoping that would happen. That I would need to see the last 3 and I would get Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It's
well,
just not
my-
it's just
my
not super
tweet is
terrific.
so.
How'd you like
It
those
doesn't-
opening credits?
It made me sick every time. I would get dizzy and sick, and I would make Jenner
Really?
fast forward through them
Mhm.
every time.
Really?
Mhm.
Yes. So
I
you
didn't
too,
have that
Nate.
problem, but
You got dizzy and sick too. Nate, did you get dizzy and sick?
No.
too?
It's just they're AI generated, and I fucking hate them.
Oh no,
were
they just
they?
made me sick.
Oh.
I would literally get motion sick and
Yeah,
be like, you gotta turn this off. I'm not okay.
They hired as an experiment, as one of their first experiments, to try out AI generating video segments, so they wouldn't need to hire artists or
Hey,
editors.
artists, motherfuckers.
Mhm.
Pay
So they used that opening, caught some flack for it, but only artists cared, so it got brushed aside. And it led to them opening their new AI department that they are putting all of their financing into, that they are looking at as their every future. That's when they started. That department is the one that started going out to actors and saying, by the way, we own your performances, which means we can make 3D models of you and do whatever we want with you in that physical, which led to the strikes. So in other words, fuck Secret Invasion.
it's not very good.
Yeah.
It's not very
Yeah,
good.
when I saw it, I didn't really care about it. I mean, I was mad that they killed off Maria Hill.
Yeah, it's such a bullshit series.
Yeah.
They're like, she's not popular anymore. Kill her off.
Maybe she wanted out, but who?
I mean, I could see it looking good on paper. I mean, the idea of something like a 70s paranoid spy thriller should be fun, because that sort of thing was actually fun. 3 Days of the Condor, as dour as it was actually fun. This was just not fun.
Say,
Nobody seemed to be having a good time.
Should have been more like The Conversation.
That could have been interesting.
Well, also, Secret Invasion is an Avengers story. It's not It's not Nick Fury running. This is an Avengers scale story.
Yeah.
Which made something else entirely. Which
It's just so dry.
Yes, it was a gigantic crossover event that they did just so they could bring back Mockingbird. But actually, I will say the one thing that was a little unnerving was right at the very end of it. There's a military strike carried out against the U.S. president while he's on Russian soil, and They have all these shots of the news that Russia is lining up tanks along the Ukrainian and Finnish border, and I'm like, ooh,
Whoops.
that's
That's
whoops.
already dated.
Yeah. But no, I'm through it now. My stupid completist nature is satisfied, and I can get on to actually watching Loki season 2. So
Yay!
Look at that. I like
understand it's good.
I have
Yes.
I've
I
heard
ha-
good things about Echo too.
I have not finished Loki season 2 because I find the dude from Lovecraft Country so
Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors so incredibly off-putting in that show that I stopped watching it. His performance in it is utterly bizarre.
Did you see
True.
Quantum Mania? I'm curious.
I did see Quantum Mania, and I found
Is
him
it
to
the
be.
same performance?
It's worse. It's worse in that he does a character who doesn't know that he's Kang the Conqueror, who has a stutter sometimes.
He's like a nerd kind of, like
But-
an old timey nerd.
But his nerdy stutter only happens occasionally. So sometimes he's doing like a stutter acting accent performance, and then sometimes he's completely well spoken with no stutter whatsoever. And it's really off putting because all it feels like is an actor who doesn't know what the fuck he wants to do with the part. And it just feels sloppy and weird. And the only thing good about that movie, TV show to me has been the season 2. I love season 1, but the season 2 has been fucking god damn it, Data. I'm gonna forget.
Short Round.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
he's not the same, but yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's the best part of it. He makes the whole thing worth it. You should watch it just for him.
I mean, I also love Owen Wilson in that show. I think he's terrific.
Yeah, he is fun. He is a lot of
I'm
fun.
a huge Owen Wilson fan, but I think he's terrific in that role.
But Jonathan Majors is a weird guy who does weird performances, and I think that Lovecraft Country is a fluke, and I think he's actually not a very good actor. I think he's resting entirely on whatever charisma he has, and I don't understand that because I don't think he's charismatic. I don't get the draw. Well, completely put aside everything awful that has happened. At the time before that all happened, Quantum Mania, his character, his Kang was just, he wasn't scary. He didn't feel like a universal threat. And this guy is going to be the villain of the entire phase, to the point where they're going to do another Avengers movie with him as the bad guy. And I looked at him in not anymore. I looked at him in Quantum Mania, and I watched him in this show, and it's what severed all interest for me with Marvel movies completely. I just don't care to see them anymore. I will not watch them in the theater anymore.
See, the thing about Quantum Mania that struck me the hardest was that Michael Douglas does not like acting in front of a green screen. So much of that is just like, don't worry, I'll drive. That was so bad.
You know what they needed to do?
Be there.
Just let him just be old. He looks like a fucking skeleton. His lips have vanished. They have curled in onto his teeth, into his mouth, and he is on the verge of death. He's a zombie. Fucking leave him alone to his life. He doesn't need to do this shit anymore.
Yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer, however, looked great.
I know, she was great. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they said so much about Quantum Mania being like so CGI and everything about it was generated, and I'm like, there is a generation of actors who just they are classic Hollywood, and they are used to working on real sets, and they never adapted to this fictional world of green screen, and they don't like it, and we should stop trying to pull them into that if they don't want to go. So same point, differently articulated.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the whole thing. I'm tired of these of all the blockbusters, honestly. I think that what finally turned me on this entire thing full on into Martin Scorsese territory was Godzilla -1. It was so fucking good for less than 15 million, and it looks great. It's just a magnificent achievement. And then you see these $300 million films, and they are of poor quality. They're not great because the majority of the money, you're not seeing that on screen. It's not going to the artists who actually put the money on screen. It's going to the actors, yeah, but it's going to nobody else. None of the artistic crew. You got the director, you got everybody above the line. They all get paid the fuck out of. Like something like, God, what was it? It was something like 60% of Hollywood budgets never have anything to do with the actual movie. It's something
All
like
craft services.
It's no, even that has to do with the movie. That's like fucking higher up saying I deserve to get paid this much for this movie I'm going to make. I'm going to make up my own amount and take the majority of the budget. So even these movies aren't made for like $300 million. They're made for like $100 million on $300 million budgets, where most of the budget is going to a bunch of fucking asshole people who care more about a dollar than making good art.
Yeah.
Have-
I don't think you'll find any arguments here.
Yeah, that's true. Have I gone too far on a rant? Have I been dominating speaking?
Well, I mean,
No.
I'm still okay with the Marvel project. I've liked basically everything except Secret Invasion.
Oh, really?
Caught the first episode of Echo. Echo was good.
I've heard Echo's good.
Yeah,
Loved Eternals.
Oh, I hated Eternals.
I liked it.
You said everything except Secret Invasion. I had to correct that.
I forgot. I had blocked Eternals out. As hopefully
I don't even think of it as a Marvel
hopefully did the
movie,
people
but all
who are
right.
still making those pictures.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I know I didn't like Secret Invasion. I disliked Eternals, so that's not quite the same thing. So I'll be if I'm playing semantics. I like Loki season 2 a lot. I can see your grief with Majors there. It did sometimes seem like he was more playing a bit than playing a character.
But what are you talking about?
Kind of everything going on around him. However, I found very fascinating, and if you haven't gotten to the bit where the thing happens to Majors that happens to Majors in the show.
Oh no, I got to the bit. I
Yeah.
cracked up. I clapped.
Well, okay,
I
it's just about to. It gets better from there, and there's less Jonathan Majors in it.
Well, I spoiled the ending for myself, so I know how it ends. So
All right.
Don't spoil it for me. I haven't seen it.
I'm not gonna say anything. I haven't actually seen the ending, so I just know what somebody wrote down about it. And considering the way I describe things, you have to kind of understand my language, because a lot of it can be very brief and flat. So
There's some really great short round stuff near the end.
oh.
Worth it for that.
See, Shane knows how to speak to me.
Like, I don't want to spoil what happens. I don't want to say what happens. That's
All right.
interesting about the characters. But
Yeah.
Okay, I know what happens to Loki. That's all I really know. But everything else.
This isn't really about him so much. It's about the supporting cast. Something really interesting happens with the supporting cast.
I'll finish it
it's
then.
worth delving into.
I'll finish it.
Okay.
That's okay. I'll take that recommendation.
But watch For All Mankind first. Like, make that
Yeah.
priority.
Realistically, I think you can get Loki out of the way a lot faster than you can get For All Mankind.
That's true.
But which am I going to enjoy more?
Oh, For All Mankind.
All right. We should move on to our episodes are getting super long. We should move on to our final segment because our stream has not been cut this time yet.
Hooray!
So let's move on to what are we watching next week? A Boy and His Dog was brought up as potential.
Last I checked, it was on the free Shout Factory streaming service that is on most streaming devices. Last I checked. it's been a minute.
If I
I own
said,
it.
I have the
could we
Criterion.
add that to the list because I would like to see it, but I can't be 100% sure I can make it next week
Okay.
Oh.
or the week
That's fine.
You're the
after.
only one.
Oh, so
Are you the only one who
We'll
hasn't seen it?
we'll save it for an episode that you have. Yeah, because I think you're the
Oh,
only
I
one.
think
who
I'm
hasn't
only
seen
one.
it.
Once you're resettled, of course.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's gonna be a month.
I know. Let's do
I
the
might
tin
be here
drum.
next week. I might be here next week, but
Let's do the
I'd rather
tin
it be
drum.
optional.
Tin drum, really?
Tin drum.
I
I
don't
only-
want to see the tin drum.
I have it on DVD. It's
I
3
read
hours
the
That-
book.
That is a reference none of you are going to get ever, and nobody listening will get it because it only happened in my life.
Okay.
When I first saw A Boy and His Dog, it was a double feature with Tin Drum.
Tin drum.
That is a really weird double feature.
I agree. I agree.
Okay.
But it's what
That
made
is-
both movies so memorable for me.
Uh,
I mean, that'll do it.
Abrupt Segue Theater presents.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've told you the reason. The double feature I will always remember was when I watched Jacob's Ladder in Brazil in a double feature in the theater.
Matt, have you seen the
Did you,
Jacob's Ladder
did you
remake
suck-
yet?
did you
No.
complete your experience by sucking down a ton of NyQuil before you started?
That
No,
would
I didn't
definitely
need to.
improve that experience.
Matt, you
Or
should watch
or
the
otherwise
Jacob's Ladder remake.
Or
It's
otherwise
horrible.
heavy grade cough medicine.
Robitussin.
I first saw Jacob's Ladder with a fever around the same time that I first saw the complete version of Brazil. I was one of the poor benighted characters who first saw Brazil in the Love Conquers All version on
Oh.
television.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Yeah,
The worst.
Anyway,
threw me for a bit.
any other
even so.
suggestions? Because I got none.
I
This
would
is-
like to steer it in the direction of something a little more like I don't want to say classic, that's the word I'm thinking of, but not classic, but like a core memory film of film theory, filmmaking. Like something
Like if we hadn't seen Vertigo, it'd be time to see Vertigo.
right. That's
Well,
exactly
we got
right.
our
I think we've all
spreadsheet with
seen
I have-
that.
stuff like
Okay,
that, right?
Because I've been
absolutely-
slacking on
Okay.
teaching Amelia.
Absolutely no. I have no background for this whatsoever, except that I've been told it's a very good movie. I have never seen The Red Shoes. I have the Criterion. Over
I have the
there.
Criterion too. I've
I
not.
don't
never
think I've
seen
seen
it.
it.
I
Who
keep not
has-
getting around to getting the Criterion while it's at half price. I keep next time.
Wait, these are the guys that did Black Narcissus, right?
Yeah, I have the Tales of Hoffman. I have the Tales of Hoffman signed by George A. Romero, who appeared in the supplementary.
We all know
were-
you have Tales from Hoffman.
which was sort of the follow-up of the Red Shoes.
Yeah,
But I somehow have never actually gotten the Red Shoes.
And
I
yes,
hate
I
it,
was
but-
with you. I was with
Yes,
you when it got
yes,
said,
you
yeah.
were with me, but
Yeah, like-
none of the rest of them were.
I think I get that.
I almost bought a red print, like Eastman color print of the Red Shoes at one point for $100, but again, never.
Fuck.
So I still haven't actually seen the Red Shoes. I'm just not sure if I have immediate access to it.
Oh,
Yeah, let's find out.
My
oh,
library
that's a good
has
point.
it. Has two
Can
copies of
we
it.
can probably
It is-
take are we what list are we working off of? Are we still working off of the
We have a spreadsheet somewhere.
Oh,
the
I haven't
Google
had
Sheets?
I haven't had access to that in months.
I can never
Really?
remember how to get to Google Sheets.
You should never lose access to it.
Yeah,
Well, no,
it's
I had the shortcut on my other computer.
Okay, so apparently the Red Shoes is on Amazon Prime for free.
Okay.
Sling TV, Roku channel. It's free,
Okay.
free.
I've got Amazon on right now. Let me make sure.
Well, all right.
Red Shoes.
Yeah, I would love to see more Powell Pressburger.
Let me
I have never. I know almost nothing walking into it, but I do remember that this is one of those films that they always talk about with film restoration. That they like
Yeah.
save this. Like I think
It's
think
one of
Scorsese in particular was speaking about. He was so happy that they were able to restore the Red Shoes into
Well,
pristine condition.
I'm
Well,
not-
okay, one, Scorsese loved Michael Powell anyway because Thelma Schoonmaker Powell is his editor.
Okay, it's
Um,
free with ads on Amazon. It's on that
Yeah.
freebie thing they have.
Two, it is about the most technicolorful movie ever made. Yeah. No, by all accounts, it's gorgeous. I've seen clips. I've been meaning to see it for ages. I have not seen it, so I would love to give
Wait,
that a look finally.
this
Red Shoes
movie,
Diaries, season 1.
nice, David Duchovny.
Same
Um,
search.
So the Red Shoes is about an authoritarian ballet enthusiast.
Black
Yeah.
Swan,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That just sounds great.
Well, then
Um,
let's do it.
It's supposed to be a good movie.
I'm
That's what I know.
I'm going to suggest something completely out of left field because I
Okay.
just remembered it, and I remembered a quick segment I wanted to do before we left because of it.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I still really want to watch with people Luca Guadagnino's Suspiria.
Oh, the Suspiria Project.
Yeah.
I would love
I've
to see
seen
it
it.
again.
You've seen it?
I've seen it. I've seen it. I love it. I mean,
Have you seen it, Shane?
I've not seen either of them.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
We
here-
re-
remember
Oh,
we were-
it's- that's right. We got to do it. Can we
We have-
plan
we have
ahead
to
for
have-
that?
Yeah,
That's
I
one we
can't
need to
do it
plan
this
ahead
weekend.
because he has to act as the control group on that one. He's the one who sees Guadagnino and then Argento.
Shane, the
Yeah,
week I
can't
would
do it.
say the week that you decide to watch Suspiria, because I know I've seen it 82 million times, and I'm sure everybody else. I've been drunk with Jenner and just talked through it. That's how many times we've seen it. So I don't think any of us really need to rewatch it, but you do. You need to see it before we watch the remake.
you have
So
homework.
So how about whenever the mood strikes, if you feel like watching Suspiria sometime, watch it and then let us know and we will do the remake that week.
Yeah, it's not.
I still really think we need to have Shane see the remake or the film about Suspiria before he actually sees Suspiria.
Mm,
I disagree. I think that's
I disagree too. Now that I think about it, just the way that they vary, I think that seeing the original would be better.
I think there are things that make more sense if you've seen the original.
Well, that's why I wanted to treat it as an experiment.
Yeah,
No,
I know,
think
but
it
that's
would
not fair
ruin
to
it.
his. Yeah, I think
No,
it would ruin his viewing experience. Yeah.
Mhm.
We
You
need
don't wanna
someone,
ruin
we
it.
need someone we don't like as well as we like Shane to play guinea pig on that.
look,
one.
we'd never get that past the IRB. So
All right. So are we? I guess we're doing the Red Shoes.
I am
guess
all
so.
for the red
I
shoes.
will try to be here next week. But
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
The red shoes itself having been highly influential on Argento's Suspiria.
mhm.
That's why I mentioned it.
Good.
And speaking of which, I would like to try the waters for one final segment. This will be short, but we can maybe talk about it a little more, stuff like this later. But I would like to ask everybody, which director would you love to see remake a film?
Of their own?
Not of their own. It can't be of their own. It can absolutely be of their own. If you want to see John Carpenter remake The Thing, then yeah, that could be your answer. But it's got to be a remake, and it's got to be. You got to name a remake and a director. Do you want me to go first? To kind of get the juices going.
I don't know that I actually
You should-
have enough background to be able to.
Yeah, I don't know that I can do that, but go ahead.
Yeah, obviously you have one.
You
Go for it.
go.
All right.
You
Hopefully this will get the juices flowing. I want to see Luca Guadagnino remake Don't Look Now.
Yes. Yes.
Ooh.
I think that would be
That would-
incredible. It might be on par with the original. Barring Guadagnino, I think Villeneuve would also be really interesting with Don't Look Now.
Villeneuve would be interesting doing a straight horror movie, not
Yeah.
like a sort of a true crime style thing like Prisoners, which I actually found deeply unpleasant. Or,
I haven't seen it still. I'm too afraid to.
or something parabolistic like Enemy, which was great.
I only know the
It has-
ending of Enemy. I know what the last shot of Enemy
Yeah.
is.
Enemy has the strangest kaiju in motion picture history because Enemy is a kaiju Iga.
Yeah, there are a
We
lot
should
of.
do
What?
if you haven't seen Enemy, we should do Enemy for this show sometime. Even so,
God, I
leaving-
don't know how long it. I have seen Enemy, but it's been a long
okay.
ass time.
It's been a while. Leaving that aside for oh god, you can't spring this on somebody like me at the last minute.
But that's
Can
the
we
best
remember
part.
this for next week? Because
No,
honestly,
you have to answer on the spot right now because this is what happened to me the other day. Somebody looked at me and said, "What do you want remade, and who do you want to do it?" And I
And
had
then you
to.
thought about it like for the past 2 days and answered it here.
No, I answered it. I answered it after
Oh.
thinking for like 15 seconds.
Oh, okay.
I was hoping you guys would be able to too, but that might just
No.
be my superpower.
I've got a director, but I'm trying to think of something interesting. But I don't want to say what the director is yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You guys need some time on this one?
No, I have.
Yeah.
I have a stupid answer.
I'm trying
Ooh.
to filter out people who are still working, people who are still working at the height of their powers, people who are not
Oh.
dead.
The way I figured it out was thinking of what I want to see remade first. That's
Okay.
to me the important part.
Mm.
Like I don't want to see Don't Look Now remade. I want to see it readapted by somebody who would do the material just as much justice as the original was done. And
Okay,
that's why I
have
went with
one.
it. Okay, let's hear it.
I have.
He's almost trod over it already, but I would want Ari Aster to remake The Conqueror Worm.
Yes.
Ooh.
That'd be so cool. Holy shit.
Okay.
I like that one.
He kind of trod some of that ground with Midsummer, but not exactly. Of course, that lends itself to the question of who in the hell plays Matthew Hopkins.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Witchfinder General.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do any better than my stupid answer. I would like to see Argento remake Basic Instinct.
Wow. Wow. Which Argento? Now
I would-
Argento or like
I
30
would take-
years ago
No,
Argento?
no. I would take either of them.
I
I
would
would
take either.
either of them.
I would take either. Basically, because everything that Basic Instinct is accused and reviled for is what Giallo was built on.
Yeah.
So
It's basically a Giallo.
Yeah.
yeah, it's basically a Giallo, and it's not in the Giallo world. It's not a very good one because it
But it had a
doesn't
Jerry
have what makes
Goldsmith score.
it doesn't have what
And
makes Giallo
money.
good, which
It had a
is,
J- it
is
had
the
a Jerry
stylized
Goldsmith's-
nature of it.
Are
You
you
know?
kidding?
Oh, I've got one now.
Jan
It's been a
de
long-
Bont
it's been a
Jan
long
de Bont
time.
cinematography.
Yeah, but that's unfair
no,
because it's going to be great no matter what. It's Jan de Bont.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a
No,
cinematographer.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah,
well,
as
I'm
a-
not
as a
ragging on the
cinematographer.
cinematography.
Yeah.
I'm looking for more of the dreamlike aspect that Argento brings to his projects, the surreality, the
Yeah.
the
I
fuzzy
would t-
logic.
I would absolutely
That's
take
what I would
either.
want to see.
I would take either Argento doing that, but yeah, no, I like that. I like that. It's a good one.
I want to see Hayao Miyazaki remake James Cameron's Avatar. And get Joe Hisaishi to do the score.
I was gonna say, you realize that actually happened in 1984,
I mean,
right?
yeah. Better, but it would be better than Avatar.
Yeah, I dislike Avatar so
I
much.
do too, but I think
don't
it would be good if Miyazaki did it.
it would certainly be better.
I find Avatar to be one of the least memorable films I've ever seen. I don't remember
That's why I
anything
dislike
about it but Stephen Lang getting stabbed with a giant arrow or some shit.
I am on
se-
record as liking the Avatar movies fine.
The Way of Water has stuck with me.
Hmm.
The
Really?
sequel stuck with me. Yeah,
The sequel is a movie you take up residence in. I'll give it that.
Yeah, it feels like more of a world than the first one does. It had me more intrigued, but I also saw it on a TV without 3D, just like none of the accoutrement that go along with it, and just watch it as a straight movie. And it's still not worth the money that was spent on it, in my opinion. However, I do appreciate the advances he's done with technology by making the movies, so maybe I do appreciate where the money is going.
You saw what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But I
is-
say it.
is
I
your
say
i-
it every time. It's not new.
Yeah.
So is your idea for this segment to spring a question on us at the end of each show? Because
Yeah.
I'm down for that. I'm
like
I'm not
this
going to have a good
question.
answer.
I
most of the
want more
time.
time to think about it.
All right. We'll start. We did that already, though. We did the question that we were all going to answer, and it didn't really work.
I kind of like the springing it on us, but I don't
I
know.
did
I might be in the minority
Did,
there.
did
It
you
just
have
sucks
one,
if we
Jay?
can't think of an answer. Then it's just dead air for a while.
Yeah,
Well,
Did-
that has happened.
Did
Right
you come
here.
up with one?
Did I? Yeah, I think so. I kind of would like to see Who Framed Roger Rabbit by James Gunn. I mean, I just kind of like with
That would be
3D.
terrifying.
Wouldn't it?
Yes.
The original was
I know.
scary enough.
I
That
know,
would be
but I'm
darker,
thinking,
yeah.
Yeah.
Who
I
plays
would be-
Doom?
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. You
I
would
think it could
cry
be.
for that damn shoe if you didn't already.
No,
And
it wouldn't be a shoe. It would be a
Never mind.
literal baby.
Yeah.
and still Christopher Lloyd as Doom.
Yeah.
Doom, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this.
Who's
I like this.
who's Michael Rooker gonna play?
That is a good one.
Or Michael Rooker is Doom.
Michael Rooker is Doom.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
There it is.
I love it.
Either that or Michael Rooker as Eddie.
Wow.
He doesn't cast Rooker in lead roles.
Well, he does.
That's right.
He does. Well, I mean, Nathan Fillion's in a lot of his stuff, just sort of in
Up
the
until Who-
background. But he could be Roger Rabbit. That'd be no.
Up until Who Framed Roger Rabbit and a few art house movies from Britain. Who put Bob Hoskins in lead roles?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
True.
God, he was
True.
such a perfect casting choice.
He was.
I know.
And he wasn't even the first.
Eh,
It should have been.
anyway, that's
Wagner, have you got one?
He already
Oh,
had
mine
one.
was
Oh,
Dario Argento basically.
Oh yeah. So all of us had one. We all did it.
Yes.
Yay! Segment
Hello?
I
completed.
don't
Pulled it
feel. I
right
don't
out
feel.
of my butt.
I don't
I
feel
like
my
fast
response
five,
was
yeah.
optimal.
Yeah, I could get a better one, but I'd have to think about it.
All right.
I don't think I could do better. That's why I like jumping it on us, because I'm not going to be able to do better. on the turn.
It kind of it forces you to think quickly and kind of go to the most raw answer you can find. And I kind of like that. That's why I like it.
What was your answer when they jumped it on you?
That was it. I told you.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't know if it was the same one.
I thought about movies I'd want to remake. And I thought about movies that have not been remade. And then I thought about great movies. And then I thought about my favorite movies. And then I thought about Don't Look Now because it's both great and one of my favorites. And then I thought that's never had a remake. It's based on a book. It could be a readaptation. Who is good at doing adaptations that are also remakes? And first I thought of Villeneuve. And then I thought, I heard Jenner's voice say Luca Guadagnino's Suspiria. Or movie about Suspiria, and I was like, "Fuck, God! If he directed Don't Look Now, it would be incredible."
Not least because Guadagnino loves lots of sexy sex.
Exactly, and that's huge in this movie.
That's
So
big in Don't Look Now.
So that's what I did. I tried to resolve the issue in that way. I tried to figure out the easiest way to get into the idea, and then I based who I'd want to make it off of the idea that it was actually being made. Like, if I wanted Haunting on Hill House to be remade, I would then start thinking about people who I think could actually pull it off. And then that's how I would come up with my answer.
Ooh, I have another one.
Yeah.
David Cronenberg remaking Alraun.
Making what?
Alraun.
What's that?
German expressionist film about basically one of the first clone horror movies.
I've never even heard of it.
Well, it hasn't had a remake since Embryo with Rock Hudson and Bobby Carrera.
Oh, wow. That's a remake.
Sort of. It has exactly the same story as Alraun.
I see.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to close out the show because we've been going for almost 2.5 hours. And I apologize for that, but this has been quite a lot of fun for me. I hope it has been for all of you. Happy birthday, Jenner.
Birthday, Jenner.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
As always, please like and subscribe. We have actually been averaging one new subscriber a month.
Nice.
Hey,
Pretty good. Pretty
Hey.
good.
Good to have people.
We might ought to shout out to their screen names every once in a while, you know?
Oh yeah, I should probably look that up.
Well, I mean, we know we love Skip, but at the same
Skip
time, we
and
don't
Travis. Skip and Travis.
Yeah.
We know Skip and
and
Travis are go. You're our
Regulars.
you're our regulars. You're awesome, folks.
Yeah, Skip unfortunately couldn't be with us this evening. He's at he's had other plans, but he promises he'll watch it tomorrow.
I'm sure I am sure he will. Hey Skip.
Okay.
All right, please like and subscribe. We have a Facebook. I haven't used it in months. We're pretty much on here now. So if you want to chat us up or whatever, comment on this video down below, or whatever. Message me. I don't care. What I just have. What's up? What's up?
Stay,
All right.